Number 1 Iron Age Booty Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What is going on, everybody?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, everyone. Oh, good Lord. This is the last Iron Age Nights of 2023, and I could not be happier to have our guest this evening. It's going to be fantastic. You've seen him here before, but you have not gotten to know him before. Tonight, we're going to get to know him, ladies and gentlemen. Take that as you will. Anyway. There are no safe words here. That's not a thing.
That's I didn't sign up for that.
Turns out you didn't sign up for what's about anyway.
2 minutes 45 seconds.
Oh God, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. I will say this to everybody in the chat. My energy levels are sapped today. If you guys are in my Gilded, or you guys have seen on Twitter, or if you're friends with me on Facebook, you guys will know why. I can cover that a little bit later, but let's not derail the stream over that this early. But thank you all for understanding, and thank you all for your prayers and for your thoughts. Thank you, everybody. And without any further ado, Iron Age Nights is the show that we bring to you every week, where we bring you an indie creator, whether they're a novel writer, a comic creator, tabletop RPGs. We've had directors of movies on this show before, and our goal is so that way, if you guys are tired of the mainstream media, you can find your next favorite here, and hopefully you guys find your next favorite tonight with our guest. And without any further ado, let's say hello to the chat over on Rumble. We've got Chatsu.
Chat.
What's going on, man? How you doing, dude? We got Skunk's Workshop over there as well. He's a member over on Rumble. We got Garham over there on Rumble as well. Thank you guys so much. And if Rumble is more your speed, you guys are more than welcome to go chat over there. Over on YouTube, we have Carol Brown. She says first. However, YouTube deleted a chat from Frederick Guimont from a few hours ago. So Frederick Guimont was actually the first. I know, because I pulled it up. He had commented, and for some reason, YouTube deleted the chat. I don't know why YouTube.
Proof that YouTube and Caro are in cahoots.
Yeah, they're in cahoots. Yeah, YouTube and Caro in cahoots, so that way she could say that she was first. Caro, did you tell YouTube to delete the chat? Is that what you did? We've got Tim Allen down on YouTube as well. Sheep City, and what's going on, man? We've got Alt Simon. How are you doing? Horizon Talker. What's going on, man? We've got Timo Burnham down there as well. Timo. I can't say it like that. I can't. Oh my God. And you guys made the chat jump on. Chat, just talk later. Just chill for now. Let me catch up with everybody. It's so hard when you guys make it jump on me like that. We've got Ox and W as well. Kiko,
it's so hard when you guys make it jump on him. Just
and,
want to take a moment to appreciate that.
Yes. Oh, God. I just got what you were saying. Evely Music, how are you doing, man? And a very special thank you to Kikomon. I will have to go get the box later. I meant to bring the box down, but I was not thinking. But Kikomon bought me a gift last year, and that was the leather-bound editions of Shadiversity's comic. And his book, as well as the absolutely fantastic letter opener that came with it. I have it upstairs.
Nice.
I will go get it later for everybody to see. Garham, he is double dipping on YouTube. We also have 10 Cage. What's going on, man? It's good to see you there as well. Caffeinated Wolf, man, how are you doing? Yes, they still let me on this platform. I am. Yeah, they'll ban me one of these days. We've got Rumble though. It's
Sooner
fine.
or later.
It's fine. Sooner. Yeah, well, they're banning everybody. I don't know. Dice Bag Games. What's going on, man? It's good to see you down there as well. Maji Chan, hello. We've got Jersey as well. Kristen Colebrook. Hey, dude, I haven't seen you in a while, man. Hail to you. I'm glad to see you down there, man. It's awesome. We got Jordan Crow. What's going on? Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. The Thinkening. The Thinkening, probably the best name on the internet. I love that name. I don't even care. The Thinkening. It's a great name. It's absolutely a great name. And you guys made the chat jump on me again because you guys are talking too much. You could just wait till I get through the intros and then you guys can talk. Mike has bad knees. What's going on, man? It's good to see you there.
Sorry to hear that.
I know. No, he attacks me with that every week. And then I will say hello. Oh, hey, we've got Mario Trujillo coming in right quick with a $5 super chat. He says, look at the chat. What do you see? It's the GOAT of personality. Oh, shit.
Oh, my goodness.
Happy New Year's, people. Drink responsibly, depending on who you spend it with. He said send it with, but I know what you meant. Oh, good God.
No.
Oh, man. Them puppets behind Richard about to come to life.
I called him the commander of the Nutcracker Army earlier.
There you go. And one more hello into the chat. Lurkers, I know you're there. I can see you, but that's okay because I know you're there. Just pop in and say hello real quick. But we know you're there. Happy New Year's to the Lurkers. Never forget the Lurkers, ladies and gentlemen. Never forget Ray Haylock, Tugs Web Guy. What's going on, man? Ladies and gentlemen, a man who has not been in his normal setup for multiple weeks now. He was Santa last week. Now this week, it looks like he's about to get murked by some dolls behind him. Not sure what's going on there. It's very ominous.
They're nutcrackers, you barbarian.
Oh, are you wearing a cup?
But
Low hanging fruit. The lowest.
They're not that. Well, never mind. I'm not going to talk about my fruit on stream. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Moving
How have
right
you
along.
been, Richard? What's going on, man? How you been this last week?
Good. It's been a busy week. I've been hanging with family and doing the usual holiday family vacation type of stuff. The kids have been having a good time. I finally got a hold of the anvil that I picked up. I've been practicing different stamps on here, and I'm really not totally happy with anything that I've worked out yet. The first time I actually used the blacksmith stamp on the magazine on the anvil, it just obliterated the little aluminum strip that I had there and the magazine underneath, and so I had to get like a little like a needle pick to clean it out. And I was like, okay, cool it. Like, and I didn't even hit it that hard, you know what I mean? But
Are you going dead center? Or are you going in the corner?
over in the corner, but I mean, still, it was an 8-pound sledge, and I just kind of gave it like what I thought was a solid whack, and that was too much, way too much. So,
So, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know what to expect when you get the next Anvil magazine.
yeah, the Forge Masters are going to be a very limited. They may be only a 2024 design.
They're kind
let's
of
put it
come in
that way.
pieces in a box.
Yeah, right. You may. I have some ideas. There's definitely ways to keep that from happening, but like
Okay.
one of them has
All
like
right.
an impression through like the first 20 pages.
Richard,
Yeah.
go to your local hardware store, buy a C clamp, set it on the table, and then slowly over the course of about 5 minutes, use that C clamp and press the.
Yeah, I guess I'll probably have to do that, but
or you
that
can
doesn't
just
seem.
sit there and whack at a book forever until you hope it comes out good, and then send.
Well,
him to me.
that's the thing is that it's like, I mean, I feel like the thing that I'm pitching is I'm going to whack this thing on an anvil with a hammer. And if I don't do that, I feel like I'm false advertising. So I don't know. I'm going to have to.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Here's what you need to do. You need to video it until you get it right.
You know what? That's a great idea.
You should put it
Thank
on.
you, Royce. That's a good one.
And
then condense all that screw ups into a short
montage. Oh, dude, it'd be great. It'd be great.
So you got yourself a chill stream. You don't have to do anything. It's just 1 hour.
Oh, that won't be chill. My blood pressure will be very elevated while I'm doing that.
Yeah, let's get hammered.
Yeah, right.
Oh. Oh, fuck. Okay, man. Oh, I need that tonight.
That would be the temper stream.
Wait. I forgot. I've been forgetting to shill this, but November prompt submission voting is live now. So go and check out the November prompts.
Dude, January's in a few days.
I know. It's because I had this thing called Anvil number 4, and I got behind on reading submissions, and then I had a hard time picking them. And anyway, fortunately, everybody that I talked to has now finally gotten back to me, or that I sent out acceptance. It's like the holidays are the worst time to try and do this kind of thing. So
yeah, dude, I never realized how the holiday season like gets in the way of like doing anything on YouTube or so until this year, and it was just like I can't. I like it. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. And before we introduced my next co-host, I want to read this out. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for $20, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit, dude, that's a lot. Thank you. Here's a 20, Royce. I'm glad I found you through your Ice review. Hopefully you continue to pursue streaming and expand this community you've cultivated. Also, we need some goat and beaver emojis.
Beaver?
That's it's just don't ask.
Channel lore stuff.
It's Brian McCoppin, Maji Chan, Beavers. It was bad. Yeah. If I knew how to make channel emojis, I would absolutely do them for you. I will probably have to seek someone out who knows how to do that and then give them channel access and let them.
I can already hear Caro furiously typing to somebody who knows how to do that.
Oh no. And she's here. She's here. And then Maji Chan for $2 says, I'm afraid beavers become legendary epic beavers. Oh God.
Rare
I don't
monsters.
know. I don't know what happened to this channel. I don't. The channel has so much lore right now. I'm having trouble keeping up with it. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, no, you know what? No jokes tonight. Mr. Daniel P. Riley was able to fund G. Sedai, his absolutely fantastic comic over on Fund My Comic. Eric July said he was going to work on funding 3 things today, and Eric July did that, and it was absolutely fantastic, dude. And he went from I'm going to play video games all day to I am riding a high and I need to get to work. So how was the rest of your day after that, man?
It's good. Very good. I did get to play a little bit of video games, so that was nice. But most of it was reaching out to the team and letting them know that we're going to get started next week on number 2. And I got to reach out to RJ at Critical Blast still. I didn't get to do that. But I have the printer picked out, so we're going to truck pretty hard in January to get number 1 out to those who have backed so far, even though the campaign's still going to go until the end of January. At this point, I figured, why not? Let's get the physicals started, get some in, and get them distributed.
There you go, dude. So
Congrats.
you're going for fast distribution here
And production now. I mean, it's over the 2,000, which was my initial mark. I think we're close to 2,400 now with the extra attention that Eric's pretty amazing moment on Twitter earlier created. So
dude,
everybody's getting paid, and we're gonna get started immediately.
That's awesome, dude. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm
man.
excited.
I saw that tweet and I was like, oh, and I looked down and I see you. You're like, you know what? I'll pass, but I appreciate it. I hope whoever you back. And I was like, and I went back and forth with that for like 30 minutes.
I almost, when I saw your post pop up, I almost thought Royce was like, "Damn it, Daniel!"
No, that never even crossed my mind. I was like, no, I'm going to be the dick and promote my buddy. He was like, no, I'm going to take a pass. I want somebody else. And I was like, no, dude, because what you've got is good. And dude, and I believe in it wholeheartedly. It's one of the few color pop comics where where you've actually, it's mostly black and white, but the things that really need to grab your attention in the scene are put in color. And I really love that. I love that I'm sure that it also strikes a balance between cost for you of doing a full color comic and a black and white. And I absolutely, it looks so good. And not only that, but for the story, from what I've heard from people, which I've read the first page or two here. It's there. You can see it's a little bendy. But no,
It's a well-loved book. That's all.
but it's been well loved like twice, and I got like a page and a half in. But it's my house. But dude, no, just congrats to you, man. I am glad, and like I said, dude, I am ready and waiting, dude, and I hope that everything goes good on the printing side and all that, dude. So congrats, man. Seriously.
Yeah, it takes some of the stress off starting the print process now. That was a thing I was worried about, because the closer you get to fulfillment time and you don't know what the physical is going to look like, it's harrowing. You're like, okay, it could come in backwards.
Yeah.
Crap.
It's happened.
Oh God, yeah. But you've obviously been prepping for this, so dude,
trying to.
And guys, I'm dropping the link. And by the way, guys, if you back during the campaign, Daniel has said that you will get the color pop version of the comic. If you back after the campaign, it's just going to be in black and white. So campaign backers, if you want that special, where you get the comic and all of the important moments pop off the page with that color, definitely go and check out the Foot of My Comic link that I just dropped down below, dude. That's awesome, man. I can't. It's great.
I had a good 45 minutes of stunned silence.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like my brain went, I don't know what to do. Stop.
Dude, that was really, really cool. That was really cool.
I said in the Gilded, I was like, geez, I need to talk to Luke and get my campaign amount bumped up there. Come on.
I saw that, man. That was funny, dude. Dude. No, but just congrats, man. And before we get to our most esteemed guest, most esteemed, you're not allowed to. I said there's no safe words. You're not allowed to take anything back. Kikomon for $10 says, it being a rough week, he says, tell me about it. Try moving states in 30 days with the move date between Christmas and New Year's. It was a success, though. Woo!
Hey.
Yeah.
Congrats, Kikomon.
I have actually been there we started the process of looking for houses and selling our house and moving states into a new house in 2 months, all around Christmas and New Year's. we had the first, hey, let's move on Thanksgiving, and by January 28th we were in a new house, so in a new state. Yeah. That was, and I got to the best decision I ever made in my life. Best decision. I told I sent out an email and I was like, look, I'm busy with my day job. So I gave the emails to our financer and and I connected my 2 realtors in the different states. And I said, you 3 talk with each other. I am too busy. When it comes time for me for an important decision, let me know. And literally shit went dark for like days. And then they'd come back and I only had to worry about the important stuff. It was awesome. So
Nice.
my realtors were awesome. My financial officer was awesome in the whole I think financial, I can't remember what they call them when they deal with the finances, the mortgages and all that, but that was great. And they literally just talked with each other. And then when something important came up and they needed me to know, they let me know. And dude, it was the best decision. Let the professionals talk with each other. Like, it worked out for me. God, I hope dude, it was great. Mario Trujillo for $2 says, use a leatherwork or jeweler's hammer, Richard.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I am thinking I need to go lighter now that I have a proper anvil, because I was having trouble with I think what I was using was was like a 2x8 or something,
Right.
Either like a 2x8 or 2x6 as a backing, and that's just apparently, well, not apparently, I'm not totally surprised, but man, it makes a huge difference. I didn't think it'd make quite that much.
Well, yeah. Steel doesn't give the way that.
Yeah, right. It's just even that tiny amount of momentary shock absorption, I guess.
Never mind. I'm not going to get into metallurgy here. I could. Anyway, and Kikomon for $5 says, congrats from me and Ocean's child, Daniel. Woo, for $5, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kikomon.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's not bury the lead anymore. We are here because of our fantastic guest this evening. And this is a guy who has been here a couple of times on the channel, once for the Rippaverse stream, another time for our Black Friday comic book creator stream, but never to talk about his story, his journey, how he got where he is, the things that he has done, and what has helped to make him successful in what he is doing, and also his fantastic comic that he has out, which is Battle Brick Road. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, give a very warm welcome to Eric Weathers. How are you doing tonight, man? How is your
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, man. How was your Christmas, man?
Really good.
Good.
I got a lot of good stuff, got to hang out with family a lot. I was off of the internet for like 3 days. I didn't look at anything.
Dude.
I don't know the last time. I was like, I grabbed my phone and I almost click on the Twitter link. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So
Wise man.
great. Got a new knife, sliced my finger on it. So, but it was pretty
Hey.
sharp. So it
That's how you
healed,
know it's a
already
good knife.
healed.
Wait,
Yeah.
what kind of knife? Pocket knife? Are we
It's-
talking the kitchen knife? Or
A kitchen knife, like a new chef's knife, so I can do some of that.
No,
chopping
properly
stuff.
blooded. You're good.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah. You got to break it in.
I broke it in on my own finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm down. I am down. That's awesome, man. Well, dude, I'm good. I'm glad that you were able to, have a good Christmas, man. God, where do I start? Okay. I'm going to start where I always start.
Beginning.
At the beginning. Yeah, in the beginning, God said, let there be Eric Weathers. And no,
And it was good.
and it was good. Hey, great stream, everybody. That was no.
Good
No,
night.
well, I do have a hard time kind of trying to start with where was the beginning, because you kind of have a few things going for you. You've got the comic, you have the lettering. Obviously, you've networked with some of the most prolific comic book creators in our modern day, and have worked with a bunch. I mean, you letter everything for everybody. I mean, at some point, you're going to start lettering for
Just about.
Daniel. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you're just that guy that, like, when people are like,
That's my
"Oh yeah,
hope.
the lettering was done by Eric Weathers," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not surprised." Like, because like just so many people have gotten there. So let's start. Okay. How, and I feel like this doesn't go back far enough, but where does this love of comics come from for you? And how does that lead into you making your own comic and then just being the lettering guy? You guys have no idea how important that is. Like, for comics to jump off the page and speak the story, the letterer has to do a lot of work to do it. Where does this love of comics come from for you? How old were you when you got into this?
I was pretty young. I don't ever. A lot of people were like remember their first comic. I think I remember my first comic, but I don't know if it's accurate. But I remember getting Wolverine, the Claremont Miller Wolverine trade. So that's my first comic, and I got it from my mom, who got it from somebody at work, because you draw pictures for your mom. She'd put them on her desk or whatever, and then oh, your son likes to draw. Here's a comic book, and I'd always been surrounded by artwork and comic books and all the cartoons that we grew up on in the 90s, early 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, G.I. Joe and He-Man and Ninja Turtles and all that stuff. And as I got older, the X-Men animated series, Batman, all the trading cards, it was just always around. The whole thing was like, now it's all manga and anime, but for us, it was basically Marvel was everywhere. At least for me, that's all I really cared about. So it was a lot of X-Men comics and toys and all of that. Just sort of got me in that nerd culture stuff. So it was that, and I remember I always drew, and actually I had a series of Disney books. Like there was like a Mickey versus the Giant or something like that. It was one of those. It was a hardcover yellow book that was probably 20 pages, and I fell in love with the artwork in it. It's Mickey Mouse, and he tries to trick this giant, and that was one of those. No, it wasn't a little golden book. I mean, it was like probably 11 by 8 or something. It was a pretty solid sized book,
I think I've seen that one.
I think, I think I have to. I mean, many years ago, but you're ringing a bell for me too.
Yeah, because I remember they did do a series, probably earlier at the area you're talking about, but they did do a series of Disney books that were not 6x9, but kind of close, with a gold wrap binding. It was like gold leaf glue paper over the binding.
No, this was not that. This was definitely cheaper than that.
And I do remember that they did the Mickey, Jack, and the Giant Slayer story in that. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, it was probably the same story. It was just packaged differently.
Probably.
But I remember flipping through that thinking, I want to draw. And so, I mean, that was probably the first book that really kind of struck with me, was that Mickey Mouse stuff. But all that stuff sort of led into comics. It's just, as you got older, I mean, that's what it was. It was like the X-Men cartoon. You read the comic books. Jim Lee was doing the X-Men #1. That was huge, the 90s boom at Marvel, and then Image, and all my friends were into it. So it was just sort of, it was just that. It's what it was. It was the hot stuff to do. It was.
You just hit the zeitgeist like right at the right time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it
was right there. And that's when I was like, I think I want to do this. I knew I wanted to draw when I was young. Like I knew that, but I don't know if I knew like this is a career. I didn't think of it like that. And it wasn't until I was in high school I was like, okay, I think I want to do this, because I don't want to be a blacksmith trying to hammer anvils into magazines. Whatever. So
you are a friend of the channel forever. I don't care what they say about you. You are a friend. I will die. I will defend you till my death. So
yeah, that's what it was. And then I'm trying to give you the quick overview.
No, not
Eventually-
quick. We've got multiple hours to fill. What are you doing? What are you stop it?
Okay, I guess
Slow down.
Okay.
Slow
Well, I'm just saying
down.
that's
Take
I got to
time.
lead into the lettering too, because it wasn't. I never set out to be a letterer. It's not. No, I don't know. I don't know anybody who woke up one day and said, "I want to be a comic book letterer." Maybe
Yeah.
they're out there, but it wasn't me. That certainly wasn't the case. Comic book artist is what I wanted to do since I was like 13 or whatever. So eventually, I did get to start making my own comic in right around 2010, and it is through that book was called Flying Fortress. It's through that book, the whole series, where I learned everything one needs to learn about how to make a comic book. And lettering was part of that. And I really enjoyed it. And then I didn't do much with it for a while until an opportunity arose of somebody looking for a letter. And I was like, I could use it. Was a paid gig. I was like, I know how to letter. I could use a paycheck. And that really kind of sparked that thing in me. It's like, oh, I could do this. I like it. I'm good at it. So that one book gave me the sort of drive to say, no, let's make this happen. And then John Malin asked for a letter for Graveyard Shift, and I threw my hat in the ring, got the job, and that kind of sealed the deal for the next 6 years of my life, which has led us to this stream right here today.
Wow, your life went really downhill. I'm sorry.
Only at the very end.
Yeah, it was like a
My God, it dropped off a cliff. No, so I actually something I want to ask this, and and I asked this for more personal reasons. Getting into the lettering and stepping into that new world, like, were you nervous about it? Were you like, were they like headstrong, like, no, I got this? Or were you just like, you know, when somebody's like, hey, I would really like to do this, were you nervous about it? Like, oh crap, I really want to give them the best thing that I can. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how they're going to take it. I don't know how we're going to work together. You know, if they say, oh, was any of that there? Was in your mind?
A
Or
little
were you just...
bit. Yeah, it's there a little bit. It was kind of fake it till you make it. You know,
Gotcha.
because I had done my own stuff. I did one gig. A buddy of mine, I was doing some video editing work with him, and he was like, "Hey, this comic book needs a letterer. Why don't you apply?" He applied for it too, and I got it, and it was a 22-page, just regular floppy comic book. And the Lord works in mysterious ways. The writer of that comic book ended up writing Battle Brick Road. Yeah, there's a story
That's
there
cool.
too. Yeah.
Oh, we better get into that. If you don't get
Yeah,
into
we-
that, you're
Yeah,
not
let's
just
get
going
into
to
it,
drop
sure.
that. As long as as long as information is available to get into.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, sure. I've talked about it in the past.
of
It was
Andrew
great.
barging into the stream yelling NDA.
Right. Andrew's not here. I don't see Caffeinated
Yeah.
Wolf in the chat anymore. He left.
So at the beginning, there were some nerves. It's like I had some confidence. Like, no, I know I can do this,
Right.
and I felt it was within my wheelhouse, at least, you know, easy enough for me to like, because I had 8 issues of Flying Fortress before. I did this other one. Is like, and I just got paid for it, so it was like, okay, I can make this a living. I could do this. I didn't even know if I thought about it as a living, but I was like, I can do this. And so John Malin was 2017, 2018, and he's like, we're looking for a letterer for Graveyard Shift. We need a 90s Tom Warzakowski Spawn style. And I was at my in-laws at the time, and I saw that tweet, and I was like, hey, we got to go home. I got to get to the computer because I want to land. I think I can do this. I think I can make this happen. So we left a day early, went home. I didn't have any info. I didn't know. Nobody knew anything about the book other than the artwork he had and the pitches he was doing on streams back then. And so all I did was I was like, I have to letter this, but I don't know. I don't have a script. I don't have anything. So I grabbed a piece of artwork from the campaign and lettered it with lyrics from a Metallica song. And
Nice.
turned it in. And he was like, "Yeah, this will do. You're hired." Him and Mark Polton were like this. Like, I even designed a balloon in a style that they had already done in the past, because Graveyard Shift, they had shopped around for a few years before setting aside for a little bit and then turning it into what it turned into. So I had even made a balloon in the style of the original lettering that they had back in the day, and they're like, "This is exactly what we want." So, yeah, it was pretty wild.
Nice.
And then John was also drawing Jawbreakers at the time, the very first
Oh, yeah.
Jawbreakers Lost Souls comic. He was drawing
Yeah.
that, and then your boy had posted on Twitter back when he was on Twitter. May he rest in peace. That he was lettering Jawbreakers, and it wasn't good. And I just, I was like, this lettering isn't good. Let me help you out. I'm lettering John Malin's other book, and he's drawing your book. So he was receptive to it and said, sounds good. We did a little back and forth, like schedule and all of that, price and all that, and we worked it out. And yeah, so I hustled in those. I mean, really, it was just 2 books worth of hustling, and that's kind of all it took. Because I mean, it was a hot time in CG. It was I mean, everything was on fire at that point.
Yeah.
Both
Mhm.
in terms of like backing it, the excitement, and then the fervor and the fear and everything that was going on was it was a wild time. And I just sort of said, all right, let's do this. Let's jump in. So that, I mean, those 2 gigs, those 2 jobs just led to everything else. Floodgates open. And John told me it would. It was like, if you do this and you do a good job, he said, there's a lot of indie comics coming. And he was right, because look at where we are now. Hundreds and hundreds of books have come in the past 5 or 6 years. And I've only lettered 99% of them. So,
Jeez.
yeah. No,
Dude, that's
not that much, but
no.
but yeah, it's been wild for sure.
No, dude, that helps me out with something that and I asked that question specifically because usually I love to have people on to give some information to everybody down there who's doing what you're doing, whether they're lettering or making their own comic or writing their own book or whatever. But I asked that question very specifically for me because there's some things that I'm working on that I am a little bit nervous about, and I am a little bit nervous to get going on. And hopefully in January, I have my guinea pigs. And hopefully in January, I'll be able to announce this stuff. But this is one of the rare times when I've been able to ask a question for me and not just for the chat here. So I appreciate you answering that, man.
Well, hopefully I answered it to your satisfaction.
You did.
Okay.
Yes. No. So you said hundreds or 100 or more. Like
it's not 200 books for me, but it's between 100 and 200. It's probably at 150 at this point.
In what, 7 years? 8 years?
6 years.
6 years?
I think my first book, I think I maybe started lettering, but I don't know if I finished a book before the end of 2017. So,
damn.
So
That's
I guess we
lot.
could say I've officially started in 2018 if you want to count the calendar year. So
I mean, you start when you start. So like if you,
Sure.
I mean, because your start isn't when you finish the first book, it's when you start lettering the first book.
That's true.
And, so dude, that's nuts though.
Yeah.
I mean, but like between 100 and 200 books you have lettered.
And I've done other various things, logo design or cover here or there,
Okay.
Interior pages, this and that and the other thing. So yeah.
Okay. So we went from you dig it in high school to you're lettering for people. I feel like there's a stage of the journey that we're missing there in the middle between, or maybe there's not. Maybe it's just like,
no, that middle was most definitely. I'm trying to. I saw it just the other day. I had pulled it off the shelf, but it was Flying Fortress. That's what started it for me. I'm 24 probably at this point, and I had always drawn, but I never really took anything seriously with it.
Right.
And I had some friends and I were hanging out one time, and I had a very good friend, and my best friend, encouraged me. He was like, you should do this. We should make a comic book. And so we were just tossing ideas back and forth. And it turned into Flying Fortress, which was a series we did from 2010 to about 2016. And it was an alternate history sort of a B-17 crew. They go on a secret mission to bomb Hitler. They get shot down and crash land in the Middle Ages.
Oh,
and
That's cool.
That's
That-
actually
that
really
took up-
cool.
Yeah, it was a fun story to work on. It was a whole lot of work. I mean, you never know how hard a comic book is until you actually try to make one. And we did 8 issues, 8.5, because we had a 0 issue as well.
Mhm.
And over those 6 years, just in my free time, we basically would put out a 22-page book every year. We had a couple years where we got more than one out, but that was as I cut my teeth on everything. I learned how to draw. I learned how to paste a comic book, ink, color, letter, pre-press, graphic design, anything that goes into a comic book. That's where it all started, and I spent a lot of years working on that. So I have like been in the dungeons on every aspect of making a comic for a long time. So you know, it never it you I did it for 6 years, and I was like, I think I'm done making comic books. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But
Liar.
it was it really gave me a foot forward in this whole thing. Like, I have a lot of experience that I've been able to just hand people, because I've been doing indie comics for 15 years.
Mhm.
So almost 15. Yeah, it's that was the middle. That was the part where I didn't make any money off of it, but I was still doing it. One book at a time. So again, that's where I figured out, like, I do like to letter. So it eventually turned into this.
That's really cool. That's really cool, man. Well, before I hog all of the questions, Daniel, Richard, do you guys have anything that you would like to interject with before I ask my next question?
Yeah, I was going to talk about, as far as lettering goes,
Mhm.
do you have like pet peeves? Or are there things that you see where you're like, oh, no?
How much time you got?
Yes. Yes.
Hours.
Whenever
Let's
you
go.
chuckled,
Let's
I was like,
go.
okay, this is a good
We
one.
have gone for 4 hours before.
Yeah.
I'm
Hours.
ready.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right. So first of all,
Because I figured this was going to be a big one. Because editing and what I do, I have a whole slew of pet peeves.
Yes.
There's a lot of and maybe somebody that I'm working with or will work with in the future will hear this or watch this and learn something to make my life a little easier. So let's say
make my life easier.
make
Sorry.
my life a little easier.
Oh,
God,
the way you said that was funny.
where do I start? Okay. Yes, there are pet peeves. Some of them are out of people's control. For instance, a lot of lettering is just copy paste. You copy the text over, you paste it in, you shape it, and I don't have any hand lettering. So I have made fonts before, so I do have I have made a font. I've never finished a full second font, but I designed based off of the original Cyberfrog comics. I created a Cyberfrog font so that I can use that when I letter Cyberfrog. But one of the pet peeves I have, and this is probably a technical thing that I can actually fix, but I've never been able to figure it out, is pasting from a PDF. It'll format, how you hit tab and it goes to the next, it goes to the next line. Those paragraph breaks import into Adobe Illustrator, and I have to take each individual one out. It's a pain in the neck.
Yes.
So that
as somebody, not for comics,
Mhm.
but I have to build safety programs and like weekly safety topics for my job because I'm the safety guy. Yeah, that's a pain. When you're taking from even if you're pasting it into another format, sometimes the computer's just like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll like try to highlight it, and it will just randomly like, oh, you want to highlight half of the footer too? Okay, let's just roll with that. Like,
Are you working in InDesign, just out of curiosity?
No, I work in InDesign for when I do pre-press, but I letter in Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
So
Man,
I thought,
oh,
if I just copy and then paste without formatting, it'll take it. No, that's not it. That doesn't work either.
No, never.
no,
So,
dude, I've had it where I a similar thought to you, and all of a sudden the last 3 letters of stuff is over here, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? No,
Yeah.
over here, and the computer's just like, no, and like, and
No.
no, just it's not gonna, and it's not my day job, so I
Yeah.
try to find another way around it.
I have a lot of patience. I'm long suffering, so I'm able to like get through this stuff. But there have been other, just in the script form, the script area, there are tons of little things that are like, I wish this was a little smoother. You know, I've
Mhm.
gotten scripts that were not. This is probably the most common one outside of that tab thing, is scripts that just aren't in the right format. They're not. It's not easily for me to see like, this is what the person is saying, just because of the way that it's written. It's not like clear demarcations of character name, dialogues,
Yeah.
character name, dialogue, sound effect here. That can be a little bit tough. I kind of read the book as I'm lettering it, but not really. 'Cause I'm not like sitting down to
Mhm,
enjoy it. I'm working and I'm designing and I'm placing stuff. So it can also be difficult for me to, especially if it's new, like a new IP or somebody's first book. It's like, I don't know any of these characters, so I won't. It's and sometimes people will draw people the same, or there will be things that it's hard for me to know, like, who's this character. There's
Mhm.
6 people on, and which one person is the right one I'm supposed to point it to. And then I'll send in proofs, and they'll be like, no, this tail needs to go to this guy, but they look exactly the same. It's like that in my eyes. It's like, I don't think it matters whose tail it's pointing at, but you wrote it, whatever.
Generic henchman thug number
yeah,
2 and
yeah,
generic
exactly.
henchman thug number
Yeah, it's
7.
like,
You don't
Right.
understand. That's Michael. He's married
Yeah.
and has a baby on the
yeah,
way.
I get the whole lore of
He's
it.
about to get executed in the next one by our hero.
It's very important that
actually
he
gonna be
say this
tragic.
line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could
We never find that out, but it is important that is his line. I hope you understand.
could
I feel like I'm getting flashbacks now.
okay. Can we just make just like a comic book?
Hello,
It's just like, it's
darkness,
just
my old
random
friend.
and just like the words just go wherever. Can we just
Dude.
just for the fun? Just what would you oops, you could call it the oops book, and it's just like
Mhm.
and just get a group of people together that are like, okay, here are the worst mistakes you can do in a comic, and then everybody just hypes the hell out of it and be like, guys, this is the worst comic you will ever have in your life, from just every, and maybe with the exception of the artwork, because we might actually have to have good artwork for it. But can you just imagine, just here's the shits off panel, we've got word bubbles where they shouldn't be, they're intersecting, like
Just call it Who TF is Talking.
right.
That's
But
the title.
Yeah.
I got a submission for Anvil in this most recent one that like it was a very odd duck. Like, it was kind of one of these things where it's like, I want to put this in because it is so different, but it was a little bit too strange. It was actually it was at least mostly CG done, right?
Mhm.
And then filters, and maybe there was some After Effects drawing on it, but like some of them were to the point of being like hyper real, and it was a very surrealist comic. But yeah, it was definitely one of the stranger things that I've seen, and I sent it over to Jake Calta, because he's like my Zoomer tastemaker, so that I know whether or not I'm just being too much of a boomer. I'm like,
yes, the Zoomer that has a 90-year-old soul.
well, that's why it's perfect, is because he still understands
1 foot in the
whatever
living, 1
Riz
foot in the
is.
grave.
He correctly
love
uses
Jake.
the word Riz, but also somehow talks about
I can't see him.
I'm too old for that one.
1920s. Actually, I've never heard him use that word, so he probably doesn't. But I'm gonna pretend that he does.
He is the only younger 20-year-old person.
If
who
ever
I
there was
can
a
say-
Zoomer tastemaker,
He-
Oshalon's child, it would be
dude,
Jake.
Jake, for Eric, if you don't know Jake, he is absolutely fantastic. 365 infantry. He's young. The guy is driven, passionate, but you see him, you hear his voice. You're like, okay, you're a young guy. He doesn't speak. His elocution is not.
Well, that and he just sounds like he belongs in a retirement home.
It's
You know what I
also
mean?
true. It's also true. Like he
Yep.
starts talking about movies from like early 19. The guy is definitely a
Yeah,
cinephile.
Quality Candor. Just as an
Yeah.
aside, check it
Yeah,
out.
Quality Candor.
His YouTube,
yes.
if you want to see him recommending weird old stuff that's good,
Okay.
that you would never
He-
find anywhere else. It's Quality
He's
Candor.
a really good dude, man. He's a really good dude, and the guy has what's so cool about him is that, and sorry, we're just shouting out somebody that we know, but what's so cool about him is
That's
that not only does he have the drive to accomplish what he wants, but he strikes me as the person, you always say youth is wasted on the young. Well, he is young, but youth is not wasted on him.
That's
He
good.
really is making the most of what he is doing. And he's one of those guys that you're like, man, if I were 22 again, I would take advice from you. Like
And he doesn't complain about inhumane working conditions. So that's
No.
really great.
no, it's amazing.
For somebody that young, that's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
He works himself to the bone, dude. Didn't he work himself sick last year?
Yeah, he was sick for like several weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he
But
literally
there was like a bajillion things going on at the same time for him. So
yeah, like he just doesn't stop. And for somebody that young, it's one of those like that's why we mention him, is because it's like, hey guys, just keep an eye on this dude, because just let's make some connections. He's one of the
Mhm.
young people that deserves to be shouted out, because he's definitely earned it. So, but anyway,
Excellent.
yeah. Sorry, but that aside, no, I don't know. I just, in the spirit of the season, no, Jake, as a young guy, because millennials, Zoomers, we all get shit, but this is one of those guys that you're just like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. So,
It's good. It's good to know that there are others behind us.
well,
just one, really.
Just
But,
one. well,
And he's really slow.
yeah. Yeah, we'll get him there. We'll get him.
we'll get him there. It'd be all right. It'd be all right. I completely derailed this conversation. I'm sorry.
We were
Yeah, I
talking
was about to
pet
shut you
peeves.
down. I was like, let's not inflate that
Yep.
ego too much. It's anyway.
I don't know what happened.
I'm here talking about all the stuff I hate about my job, and you're trying to
Yeah.
change the subject.
To something positive.
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
talk about what
Yeah.
you hate about your job. What do you hate about your job?
The inhumane working conditions.
There
first
we
of all.
go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That just
yeah.
means that you're working for a
Get-
savvy business individual.
I
That's what I think.
As a manager, I would say get used to it, scrub. Is that-
Oh.
oh, wait, no, we've got to be HR now. I'm sorry. If you would please go back to your working conditions before we promptly show you the door, that would be most beneficial for both of us. Is that how HR sounds nowadays?
I don't know. I don't think we have
If
HR
you
at
could get
Riververse?
back to
I don't
work,
know.
I don't know.
that'd be
I hope to
great.
God not, dude. I hope to
I don't know.
God you guys don't have never get HR. Never get HR. I love my HR manager. She wears multiple hats. She's my boss. But
Occasionally watches the stream.
I hope to fuck not. Or I hope to fuck no, she does. She doesn't. No. But no, she's she's great. She is. Carol, I am HR. Oh fuck.
Oh no,
I don't know what anybody else does besides me. So who the? I don't
somebody's
know.
getting written up on Monday.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a post-it
Tuesday.
on Teams later.
Arrow is just HR universal, so we're all getting written up.
All right. So okay. So Richard, you were asking a question. You mentioned Jake, and I had to dote on Jake because I love the fuck out of the guy. He's so awesome, dude.
Yeah, I think I was just kind of inviting Eric to complain about things a little bit, and then he jumped
Yeah.
on the opportunity, and really, I mean,
I'm
aside
all
from
over
that-
it. That's a steak I'm not gonna not eat right there.
Yeah.
There
So, okay. So yeah. So what are the things outside of formatting
Yeah.
issues and just other like? What's the worst? What's the worst thing that you've come across in lettering?
I got okay. The worst thing. There's a lot. There's so many bad things. I'm still on scripts.
Oh, they're all
First of all,
equal.
yeah. No, well, they're just. Let me just throw a few out here.
Okay.
The caveat is I work with a lot of first time creators. They just don't know this stuff,
Right.
and that's fine. And I'm here to make their lives a little easier and make their books look better. But improper formatting of scripts is a thing. It happens, it's not a big deal. But there's still a lot of amateur stuff where it's like way too much dialogue for what needs to go in the panel, what needs to go on the page overall.
Yeah.
That's where you want to get an editor. I'm not an editor, not a copy editor.
Hi.
It's not what
Are
I do,
you?
But no,
But
I'll throw in a comma where it needs to go, but that's about it. But yeah, there's a lot of that where it's just sort of the rules of how a comic book needs to be made. Sometimes it's the artist's fault, sometimes it's the writer's fault. They'll both blame each other and not take the blame themselves. But the character, when you have two characters speaking in a panel, the person on the left needs to speak first because the balloons need to line up properly. And that's the thing, is it's not always the case, because depending on the balloons and where they can go, you can still make it work. But
wait,
generally speaking,
may I ask a question?
No.
And this is, again, and everybody knows this on
You
my
said
channel.
no,
When I was
Royce.
young, I need to ask this question.
okay,
Go ahead. Just had to
just
mess
this
with
one.
I actually didn't hear it. I didn't hear the no. My headphones are doing something weird tonight. My computer did a reset, and nothing has sounded right since.
It was so
I have
great.
always
He was just deadpan
defaulted.
about it.
I have always defaulted to like the balloon that's higher. Is that not necessarily correct? Like,
No, it
and
should be. I mean, absolutely, it should be that way. You can't. There's a lot that goes into it because every panel is different. But you generally want to. I mean, you 99 times out of 100, you want it to be that way. But there may be other reasons why you don't. It depends on what is being thrown at you. But you have to think about how we read just regular prose, left to right, top to bottom. So that's how the lettering balloon placement should go, generally speaking. But you also want to make sure that you're leading the eye properly. You're not covering up stuff that you shouldn't be covering up. With the tails pointing to the right people, to their mouths. Even if there's stuff in front of their mouth, like a hand, it doesn't mean the hand's talking. I've heard arguments like that. It's like, no, but it's literally, if you just would follow the arc of where the tail's pointing, it goes to their mouth. Yeah. But like, that's that people, it happens. But,
jeez.
But yeah, too much dialogue in one balloon, and it's fine. I'll just break it up into multiple balloons. And that's never really been an issue. People not bolding words, but then just kind of maybe wanting to go back and bold ones. It's like, it would be nice if that was already in the script. Little things like that. It can be kind of like, it's not the end of the world. It's just things would run smoother. You'd get your book done faster if this stuff was taken care of ahead of time. But again, like I said, I work with a lot of noobs, bunch of noobs I'm working with.
Noobs.
Oh God. No, but you know what though? That everybody's got to learn. Everybody's got a place.
Absolutely,
to start.
and I was there the same. That was me doing my own stuff.
What
and
are
the
the best
artists, they make a lot of
resources?
sense too. So, what's that?
What would you say? Are there any like good resources that? I mean, aside obviously from listening to you, are there any books or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, there are some great resources. I will plug my own YouTube channel, which starting in January will have more and more content related to how to letter, the rules, the how-tos, the do's and don'ts. I have a small handful of videos up there right now. It's literally like how to letter. A lot of those resources out there right now are the rules of lettering in terms of like how to use the proper I, whether it has crossbars or it doesn't, like how to use dashes and quotes and all of that. But there's not a lot out there where it's like, how do I actually make a word balloon to make it look like a comic book word balloon and not just look like an ellipse? So I have a video on my website on my YouTube channel that does that. And there's going to be, I have a whole Notion list, multiple lists of all these sort of videos and tutorials and stuff that's a big thing I'm going to be doing in 2024 is teaching what I know to anybody that wants to learn or whatever. But outside of that, when I was learning, there was a website called ninjalettering.com, and that's where I learned a lot of the how-to. But some of this stuff, it's an old website. Not all the links go anywhere anymore, so it's a little bare bones. Blambot's website, you can get free fonts there if you're making your own comic book and you need a comic book font and you don't have any money, go to blambot.com and get free. They have a lot of free fonts for indie creators. And he has a neat Picos. He has a section on his website about proper comic book grammar, that kind of stuff about when to use quotes, how to use captions, how to use dashes, and all of that
I
stuff.
heard there was a really subpar website called howtolettercomics.com. Is
Hey
that
now. Hey now. That's that I started that
That brings
a couple of years ago. I was like, I'm gonna do it now, and then I got super busy. So How to Letter Comics right now just leads to my Gumroad, which is where I'll be selling the tutorials and stuff, but I'll have a lot of free content on the YouTube.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I've actually talked, you guys know Shantan Jetty. He was like,
The name does not ring a bell to me, but
you're not joking. Shantan Jetty, Nosferatu the Cliff Walker.
He was like, oh, they are
you not know?
scrubs. No, we're not
Anyways.
joking.
A good friend of mine named Shant, he's NCG. He's this beautiful painted comic book. He's actually doing a piece for Battle Brick Road 2 in our print.
you know
book,
what?
which we
I
can
know
get
who
to
you're
later.
talking about. I just didn't know
Yeah.
that's how you said his name.
Yeah. Shant
I've
Shanth.
always-
You might know it as Shanth.
Yeah. Honestly, I never really
I don't-
thought about how to do it. He does really like beautifully painted pieces.
Yeah, he did
Right.
a painting he did an Ison painting. He did a Cyberfrog trading card. He did the Ghost of Badlands.
Yeah, he's done stuff with
yeah.
that.
He's done stuff for
He did
Michael
like a
Baycroft.
separate
Yeah.
Iron Age.
Wait, okay, so I feel
yeah.
like I know who
He
this
did
guy
that.
is, but I don't know
You've
who
seen
this
his
guy
work
is.
for sure. I
Yeah,
had
you've seen it.
never contemplated how his name would be said, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm a millennial. I go off of pictures, not words. What the fuck?
I'll help you out.
What are words?
What are words?
So- Anyways, he was like, you should, because I had the How to Letter Comics brand. He was like, no, you need brand it your name. Besides, your name rhymes with letters, Weathers letters. Like you could go roll with that. So I do have the How to Letter Comics website, but I'm gonna just make it me because it's easier. Eric Weathers, he knows how to do it, you know. So shout out to Shant, who's a
Dude,
wonderful human being.
weathersletters.com. Like, are you that's perfect.
I actually need to buy that one. Don't buy that one and try to sell it because I won't pay you. I'll
Buy
just
that
get the
one.
.net or
Chat,
the, yeah.
chat, do me a favor. I want you guys to buy that domain. And then what you do is you tell him he has to come back on the show in order to get the domain.
Ransom?
It
Really?
seems like a real like circuitous way to just get him back on the show.
Mm.
You know,
I
you
could be
just
honest.
ask.
I could be honest about it, but I realize that we scare off most of our guests and they don't like to come back. So I figure if
But
I
he's already
hold
been on. He's clearly
It's
shown
true.
some bad judgment so far. So
Yeah.
So
really bad judgment.
Yeah.
This is his third
Thrice
time
now.
here.
mhm.
Thrice.
yeah.
So-
but if somebody wants a solid book on how to letter, there's the Lambot's Guide to Complete Guide to Comic Book Lettering, and it covers everything. It's really good. It's really good. But I am making this YouTube thing because you can't just go to YouTube and find a channel that tells you everything.
Mhm.
You have to go, this guy does this video and that kind of is good. And then this other guy does another video, but he doesn't explain it very well. And it's all over the place. And I feel like there's a certain market there for I'm going to cover every topic I can. I want to do videos for letterers. I'm going to do videos about lettering for artists, videos about lettering for writers. It's all,
That's killer, dude.
it's
Sounds
awesome.
awesome.
All in the plans.
So I want to ask this question because I thought about it was something that you said that made me think of it in my head. You were talking about the rules for lettering and how to letter and things like that. And everybody knows rules are made to be broken. Not all the time, but sometimes you have to go, this thing that I know that I'm supposed to do, I can't do here. I need to do the opposite. Have you done that so far, or is it pretty straightforward lettering,
No, I
this is
think-
how you do it? Or have there been times where you go, just the way that this breaks down, I have to break the rules here and it works?
Yeah, there are definitely times when rules need to be broken. I
But that takes
I-
intuition and knowledge on your part to know when to do that.
For sure, yeah, because if you don't know the rules, then your lettering is just kind of haphazard.
Mhm.
You know, there's things aren't consistent. And
Mhm.
if there's one thing that I will be hammering home in my course, or whatever it is ends up being in my videos and whatnot, is whatever decisions you make in the style that you want to letter in, the design choices you make, is to be consistent within that book. You might letter different ways for different books, but be consistent within that book. So, yeah, there are things that can be broken. For instance, one thing that comes to mind is if a character trails off in their speech, you do an ellipsis and dot dot dot, and that's always just on the edge of the word. It's something, there's no space. It's just sigh dot dot dot, whatever the word is in the ellipsis. Sometimes I like to just throw the ellipsis on its own line and just sort of have it hang there. You're not technically supposed to do that, but there's a certain energy that gives that word balloon. It makes it a little bit different. Like he's trailed off, but he's sort of also paused, but there's it means something to do it. It's not accidental.
That was what I was just thinking, because that translates over to novel text. And when you said that, I immediately thought dramatic pause, because that's what it represents, especially if it's in the line just underneath something.
Yeah, and I've tried to pull it off.
It's not so much a trail off as a hard stop in what's going on, almost.
Yeah, and I've tried to pull it off a couple of times. People are like, nah, we don't do that. Like, you don't get what I'm doing. But yeah, let's see, there, generally you don't want to. There's a safe area for lettering. In any print media, there's a safe area because stuff gets trimmed, and you want to make sure it's not going to, important information isn't going to get cut.
Or the first letter of every word that starts a
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah. Those rules can be broken. Again, if it means if it's intentional, like I want this balloon to actually be cut off because I'm trying to convey something that character is being cut off, or whatever you want to try and make those take those risks where you can. But some rules I think shouldn't be broken. Like it really bothers me. There's a rule about the proper use of the letter I, whether or not it is a bar, just one line, capital one line, or if it has the crossbars, so the serifs on the top and bottom. And that is very standard comic book, it should be written in the comic book lettering constitution. That crossbar I's are meant for personal pronouns, and every other and non-crossbar I's everything else. So I'm, I'd, I'll, all those crossbar I, anything else, don't do that. That's kind of one of those. And you will see an amateur. I did this to start because I didn't know, but an amateur, it'll just be random. You have two different word balloons that both start with a letter, that both start with I, like the personal pronoun, and one will be a crossbar I and one will be not. And it's like, that's not that. Again, that goes back to being consistent.
Yeah.
So, but that's a rule that
guys are trained to catch those sorts of details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these days, a lot of the fonts that I work with are commercial comic book fonts. So that's actually, they have open type, which open type fonts are dynamic in that they're made to look more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like hand drawn, or made to look not just uniform, right? So
more natural.
Yeah, they're made to look more natural. So they will have there's a font that I have that I have several like this, but I got a font from Comic Craft, which is like the number one. This is the mainstream Marvel DC image. Everybody uses these fonts, and it was like a $400 font. I was like, I'm used to buying $20 fonts, just for like 400. But it's like it's got open type. They're called ligature. So it's like if you put two O's together, instead of the O's being exactly the same, they'll auto ligature, meaning it'll just be that is it that they look different.
Yeah.
And things like that. And the more what's the word I'm looking for? I'm always at a loss for words, by the way, which is ironic because I letter comic books. The more of those that are in the font, like the crazier they can get. So depending on what kind of common letter combinations using THs and double vowels and things like that, there will be various ones of those. And those, a lot of that crossbar I stuff is kind of built in. So it just knows if it's if it's I''M, it's the crossbar. So a lot of stuff's built in. So you don't actually have to catch it yourself. But that's not every font. So I don't know. What else you got? Hit me.
Well, I have a oddly esoteric question. Just thinking back to the old days of reading comic books. One of the things that always caught my eye in dialogue bubbles is starting with the TH and the cross of the T, the serif, is like connected to the top of the H. In a lot of them, it always drove me nuts because I would look at that and you'd look at the rest of the letters in the entire bubble and they all are spaced so that they're distinct, but TH was always attached just at the end of that top. Like, is that on purpose or is that just like a print issue? Like, I always wondered what that was about.
It'd be hard to say. The 90% of lettering these days is digital. They're commercial fonts that are used that you probably don't do that. It depends on the font. But back in the day, it would have been hand done. So that might have just been that letterer's sort of natural way of doing it. They might have been in a rush. I don't know if it would have been anything. Maybe it was just how they did it. It was back then, lettering, it was like, a letterer was they would just have their sort of set look and that was it. And then you just, now, it's unless I make a font of my own handwriting, I'm lettering in somebody else's hand, so to speak, And there's an industry standard these days, and it kind of ties things together. Or like when I work on, I work on Arc Athena with Eric Canetti, Iconic Comics. He wanted a very specific font, so all of those books are in that typeface. So there's like a brand that goes with his art style.
Gotcha.
That I use. Same with Allegiance Arts that I did with like the Red Rooster and the Bass Reeves and all that. And there was a brand that they wanted a specific look. But in that sense, I don't know if those may have been mistakes. I don't know, but I think in modern day things, those are definitely way more easily avoidable. I don't think it would have been a printing issue, but strange things have happened. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
it could
curious,
be anything under the sun.
Something you don't know. I always looked at it and wondered if it was handwritten, and that was just the way that the person draws their T's and H's, or if it was like a slight bleed in the printing process that made them blend together or something. You never can know, but I thought maybe, since we're picking the brain of a letterer, I'd ask.
Sorry, I don't have a definitive answer on that one. I would say it's probably just the letterer's hand.
Lettering mystery.
Yep. Put that one in the time capsule and have to come back to it.
In modern comics, with incredibly large info dumps, there's like a squishing that happens. Like they're trying to fit all the words in, and that always got my goat when I was reading them.
That's difficult. That can, you can file that under the pet peeve thing. Is there's plenty of times where there's a book I'm working on where it's just they want the exposition or it's giant back and forth. That's where
Yeah, big
that's where
freaking
the
speeches.
struggle comes in. Yeah. Yeah. That's where the struggle comes in like, how do I make this work? Like, I've got no room to not cover everything up.
Yeah.
I want all of this dialogue, and I put what's there. I have learned over the years that if it's in the script, I'm just going to put it in the way it is,
Mhm.
because I don't know if I can't make the assumption that if it needs editing, it hasn't already been, or, I don't want to go. I'm not there to rewrite somebody's. That's not what I'm doing. You're paying me to letter what's in the script, so that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
But there have been plenty of pages where there's just this battle on how do I put this? I don't want to cover up this character's face. I can't, obviously. The hands and feet, you want to keep those clear. Don't want to cover up any light sources, otherwise it looks like the word balloon is glowing.
Yeah.
And then throw in, a conversation between 2 or 3 people, and then you have to figure out where these tales go and how they zigzag and all that. It's a real nightmare. And then you look at it and I've been there where it's like I have rearranged these balloons half a dozen ways, and none of them look good ultimately to me. So, but it reads well, so I guess it's okay. And then that's me overthinking and realizing that the average reader won't care as long as
Yeah.
they can read it in order. So, yeah.
It would just be really. I'm waiting for like the evolution of modern mainstream giant exposition dumps where you have a panel and it's just like part of an arm and a single leg and everything
That can go
else
in
is
the
normal.
that can go in the comic book Royce was talking about.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, before I'm going to be heading out here before too terribly long, but I want to talk to you about Battle Brick Road
Okay.
a little bit.
Yes.
And I think was that on the Black Friday stream that I asked you about, like why Wizard of Oz, and you didn't necessarily have a specific thing aside from the fact that it was cool.
Yeah.
But
What better reason is there?
yeah, I know. Not that you have to have one, but with the way that you've decided to take this, what are the big things that you'd say are the funnest parts that you tossed into the mix here? What are the things that you feel like people need to know about that are the most awesome?
Making a Wizard of Oz spinoff, what have you, is really difficult to do because there are an ungodly amount of them out there. And I really didn't really put that into consideration when we were toying with the idea of it. It wasn't like, well, everybody's done some Wizard of Oz something. It was just like, it was like, this seems really cool. I want to do this. So for me, I think the fun part is making it as much, like, yes, it's Wizard of Oz, but making it as far away from Wizard of Oz as I can.
Yeah.
Without just it being a different thing altogether. So it's how far can I let the leash out on this dog without letting go of it completely. So there are things that I have done where it's like we don't quote the movie. Everybody has seen the movie. We don't quote the movie directly because I don't want people to think of the movie when they read the book. I want people to read the book.
Yeah.
And if I say, we're not in Kansas anymore, you're going to think about the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. There's how do I design characters?
Do you paraphrase it all? Like, oh, we're not home anymore. Do you paraphrase?
Yeah, there are certain things. That line that we in Battle Brick Road is in Battle Brick Road 1, but it's not. We're not in Kansas anymore. Dorothy arrives in Oz, and her response is, "This certainly doesn't look like Kansas."
Mhm.
So
Mm.
it's enough. It's close, but it's not going to
Yeah.
make you go, I see what you did there. There's a reference.
Mhm.
I learned, speaking, going back to
Wait,
Flying
so you're
Fortress.
not relying on member berries?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we do have
That-
character names like Scarecrow and Lion,
Well,
but
but
Yeah.
you I mean those are gimmies, but to not rely on member berries it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. If
Mhm.
something can be a spin-off or a retake or whatever, but if it can't rely on its own merits, it bothers me. And for when you're like, we want you to know kind of what we're spinning off of,
Mhm.
but we don't want you to just constantly think of that thing in the book.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you thought of that.
that was like day one in concept. It was like, I don't want people to think about wizard, because I had gone through the Flying Fortress thing and we did some reference stuff in that, and I got a handwritten letter from somebody that bought the book and was like, I love this story, it's great, but you threw in this line. I had a line that said, "Great kid, don't get cocky." Is I'm a big Star Wars, or was a big Star Wars,
Right.
not anymore.
Mhm.
But I was like,
Right.
and he was like, that took me out of your book. He said, you should not do that. And at the time, I was like, this guy didn't know what he's talking about. I didn't handle
Mhm.
criticism well back then.
How dare
But
you?
it stuck with me, and I was like, yeah, that's true. And when I see it in other media, it happens. It pulls you out if you're in it, and then they say the thing. You're like, oh, they said the thing. So I'm very conscious of trying not to do that, and that's not just dialogue. That's everything from character design to location to the way I draw things and all of that. I want to make sure that again, it's enough of you to know you can look at the characters of the lineup
Well-
and say, that's Wizard of Oz.
There-
There's a girl, she's got red hair. There's a guy that looks like a lion, kind of. There's a guy in a suit, ghillie suit. He must a scarecrow. There's a robot. There's a Tin Man. You can look at it, the characters, and say that's Wizard of Oz, or say that looks kind of cool. Maybe it doesn't click that it's Wizard of Oz. I also like that too.
That reminds me, it was years ago. God, I wish I could remember who I was watching. I feel like it had something to do with it was I think it was just a breakdown that somebody was doing. It was just a long form video breakdown, and people were like, when it comes to telling stories, you have to have enough familiarity that people can go, oh, cool. Because if it feels too abstract or too alien, like nobody's going to connect with it. You have to have enough, familiar things going on in your story that people can go, okay, we're not going to call water, the mystic blue, because nobody's going to understand what that, we're going to call it water, right?
Yeah.
It's just water. Water is water. We all understand that. And there has to be some universal, things there. And they were complimenting George Lucas at the time. In the video, saying, he did a really good job, obviously, in the first few Star Wars films, where it felt like it was another place. He goes, but if you really look at it, like 60% of the movie is just like normal everyday stuff that we know, and it's that extra like 40% that is different, but it's familiar enough that okay, I'm comfortable here. I know what they're talking about, but damn, this 40% over here is good. And not saying that
it keeps it grounded. It keeps it it makes it relatable. Like Star Wars is relatable because Han Solo says, "Then I'll see you in hell." And you're like, hell, but it's a space thing. Like that makes it feel real. It makes it feel like it's a grounded series. Like these people actually exist, because it feels authentic.
It's relatable, and it sounds like that's what you did with Battle Brick Road.
Mm-hmm.
You put the time, effort, and energy into thinking, okay, it needs to be relatable, but it can't be too relatable where it just feels like it's a ripoff or it's the real world.
Plus, I again, there's a lot of other Oz stuff out there, and it's a lot of it plays on the whimsy and the magic and all of that, and the fairy tale, and we're not doing that. So it is. It's also like I want to stay away from that because that's not the story we want to tell. That's not the kind of Oz this is. It's gritty. It's a war torn wasteland, and it's not horror, it's not sci-fi. It kind of, there's some sci-fi in it, but it's in its own little pocket where it's like I'm trying to make it a real, as real as I can make it, world that you could see in any media and not be distracted by things seeming off. Like there are fantastic things in it. We've got mind controlled populace that are this was the strange timing of things. A mind controlled populace that are forced to wear masks.
Strange timing.
Strange timing. That was, I'm drawing it, and then I'm through that series or through that part. I'm working on the next, and then all of a sudden Wuhan happens.
No.
It's like, oh, how about that? Yeah. So it's like it came out during all of this. It was one of those weird things, comply and all of that. And we've got animals that talk, and we've got human animal hybrids and AI taking over. So we got that too. But again, it's I don't want the goofy dance and singing stuff, because a lot of it is that. Even it's made for, it was a kids book, it was a children's book.
Mhm.
And I don't want it. The obvious thing, if you're gonna subvert expectations with a children's book, is let's make it a horror. They make the Winnie the Pooh murder movie. It's like,
Yeah.
What if
The Pooh Demon Slayer.
my thing is, why don't we put it in the
Right.
military? What if Winnie the Pooh? What if there was a squad in World War II? It's like Pooh Bear and Tigger the Tiger Tank. I don't know. That's making stuff up as I go along here.
There's
but
actually have you seen Winnie the Pooh Demon Hunter? Have
Yeah.
you seen that
See?
book out there?
Yeah, I haven't, but-
That's a thing,
Yeah.
and it looks, it's
Not to be confused with the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie.
yeah,
Blood and
no,
Honey,
yeah,
yeah.
but no, it's but there are things like that, and they're different takes, and
Mhm.
dude, the second that I realized what Battle Brick Road was, and I was like, wait, this is Wizard of Oz with guns.
Mhm.
I love it. I love the concept. I love the premise. The first time
Thank
you
you.
were on the show, we literally stopped the show to talk about what kind of guns they were, and I was looking them up. Like, no, actually, and you were like, no, actually, the gun is that, and I'm like, oh, I don't know that gun. Like, it was freaking great, dude.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
loved that because you added something fun, especially for the gun nuts. You added
Mhm.
something fun. You took this story that, it's been there in American culture for 100 years almost,
Yeah.
90 years. And
No, 120. It came out. The original book came out in 1900, so it's been
Mhm.
Whoa.
123 years.
Well, and I speak obviously as a novice on this. So the movie I think was in the 19
39, I think 36,
yeah,
39, something like that.
So I mean, we're 85 years,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and so, but just the way that you were able to take that and just kind of put those extra little fun twists on it in your own way just made me appreciate what you were doing even more.
Well, thank you. I can only take half the credit. I mean, Zeb I came to him with this idea years ago because I had done Flying Fortress and I was working on some concept art stuff because I wanted to build a concept art portfolio. Like, I want to work on video games. And I had this, it was basically Oz with guns. It was like Wizard of Oz meets The Division. And it was going to be about drug running. The Yellow Brick Road was like a drug running road, and Emerald City was Seattle. It was very much
I need this video game.
Yeah. that was the thing I was working with. I was like, let's do this because going back to what I said earlier about how he wrote that book that was my first lettering gig. Ended up doing Battle Brick Road together was because of that's how we found that out and was like, hey, let's I have this idea. I had two ideas actually. I was like, pick whichever one you think will work the best for you. And that turned into Battle Brick Road. So the best part, I think one of the reasons that it works out so well is he is in the Oz. He read the book a bunch, listened to it a bunch on audio while he was at work, and I stay away from it. I don't look at anything Wizard of Oz. I haven't watched the movie in I don't know how long. I want to stay as far away from it as I can. So any influence I get is only from him. And then I even take some of those things that he talks about and think, all right, let's take that. Let's Rubik's Cube this mess up a little bit and put my spin on it as well. So we collaborate in that sense where, you know, he'll have a scene and like, this works better if we do this. We pull this character into the story a little bit more, give him, you know, another 3, 4, or 5 pages, that kind of stuff. So we collaborate quite well in that sense. And a lot of that was Zeb totally gets that we're not in that magical zone, but he's also like pulling in like, yeah, but they're going to meet these creatures and they're animals, but they are going to talk. Like, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to see talking animals, but then again, one of our main characters is a talking animal.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, half talking animal at least.
So before we continue on that, Richard, I do know
Yep.
that you have to go, good sir.
It's that time.
It is
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah,
So,
it's that time, and I really got to go because I'm going to be driving a long way tomorrow, starting very early.
All right.
So
Drive safe, dude.
Yep. And once again, just before I go, I'm going to chill the November prompt voting for everybody. There's a lot of good stories there. Everybody go check those out. And the voting I bumped it back to through January 1st. So you can, if you got a hangover, you can read read in bed or something like that. And I will be talking a bit more and doing a big push for the Anvil subscriptions and First Strike starting next week. So, Eric, thank you. I enjoyed talking to you, man. I'm looking forward to talking to you again sometime.
Yeah.
And everybody else, have yourselves a good one, and I will see you on Sunday night.
Happy New Year,
Richard. In case
Happy
I don't,
New Year.
Happy New
see you
Year's.
on
Happy
Sunday
New Year's,
night.
guys.
Happy New Year's, man. Well,
There were 3.
and then there were 3. I could always invite a guest host. Like, do you have somebody in mind in the chat that you're just like, no, I want that person to be a guest host? I don't.
Don't put me on the spot like that.
Why not?
What are you doing to me?
Never, ever, ever acknowledge the chat. Don't do it.
No, I don't even know what a chat is.
Say yes.
No idea.
Yes.
It's the lovable scamps that are saying things in the scrolly part on the side.
Shh.
Oh, I thought that was my script.
I thought that was
My script.
dude. I
Lettering
legit would
the
love,
chat as it goes
like,
by.
If I could wrangle the chat one day, which won't happen, but if I could wrangle the chat, I could invite Caro. So everybody's like, I send Caro an invite. I could send Caro an invite. Caro knows Eric.
We love Kara.
Caro, I know Caro. Caro knows me. We see each other quite often. Across the internet, at least.
Across the internet, across the interwebs. Well, I will send Caro an invite, and if she would like to guest host for this last little bit here. Well, and I say last little bit, well, we could literally be here for another 4 hours. We don't know yet.
Oh boy.
I
mean, oh boy.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's wow. No, one of the things that I would love to do. One of the things that I would love to do, it's just stupid thoughts that I've had in my head, but I would love to start like a sentence in the chat and be like, all right, chat, it's your job to continue this story. And then just have the chat just keeps going and continues the story. We might have to move a sentence here or there, but we can't change what the chat says. And then by the end of the live stream, we have our story and just figure out how the fuck to put that onto the page.
And then you got to get Caro to edit it, and then I'll letter it.
Something like that, I feel, would be just a nightmare for anybody. But
Yeah, I was
Absolute
going to
nightmare.
say, I love the chat, but I don't think that's a good idea.
no, but it would be something that would just be fun to do. It's like, okay, guys, we did the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a nightmare. We're not doing this again. But this was literally the YouTube chat that wrote this book. And so whatever insane crap that you guys said, and you'd have to come up with characters on the fly in the chat as it goes. No, because
It'll just be the epic war of goats with
It'll just be a story about
hair versus beavers.
And goats, yeah.
Well, the only reason that I say it is because years ago I'm like, I fucking hated memes. Like, I hated the meme stuff. I didn't understand the meme stuff. I'm not that guy. Like, I don't think in those realms, right? Like, memes for me are like quadratic equations. I don't even know what the fuck a quadratic equation is. I don't know how to make a meme. I'm just not that guy, right? But I think about stuff like this because I've been exposed to the meme lords. Thank you, chat. Not really. And I'm like, it would be fun to just do something absolutely off the wall in the most weird way and just see if people could pull it off. Just be like, this comic was literally written in a YouTube chat.
Video, like people in on Twitch have had their chat play a game for them and beat it. So like, I forget what it was. It was something like Pac-Man or something where the chat had to like say up, down, left, right. And however many people were in chat, and the chat, as the chat was typing it, I don't know if it was Pac-Man, but theoretically, let's say it was. The Pac-Man would go based off of what the chat was saying to try and get away from the ghosts and everything and get all the power pellets and everything. So it is possible. Hello, Caro.
Hello. I didn't get to see
hello.
you this week.
I know.
I took the day off. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's Andrew's fault.
Why? What did Andrew?
Actually, it's actually Eric's fault because he was streaming while we, and then Andrew was like, "All right."
Oh, that's right. I actually had taken. I did the very rare of. I actually took a day off.
Oh, that's right. You were just gone.
Yeah, and that was really bad because then everybody's like, I can't find things. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not here.
How did I not know that Caro had tattoos?
Oh, I have full
I'm not
sleeve.
sure. Maybe you don't use your eyes.
I even showed up on your stream the first time in a tank top.
That's true.
I'm not even. You know what?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
On that note,
Royce.exe is not responding.
wait.
What?
I'm gonna try and reset him.
Is it working?
Don't stab it! Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to do the. I'm supposed to do the stitch. He's touching me. He's touching me.
Oh, I can do it too.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, she's touching me. Not touching me. You're touching me. Sorry. My kids.
Two don't knock it off. I'm gonna turn this live stream around and go home.
Oh no.
Okay. So, well, we haven't gone off the rails as quickly as Caro goes off the rails. But dude, so Battle Brick Road, man, like the artwork is spectacular. You've obviously you've used a fantastic amount of money on it.
There it is.
Now, here's the thing that a lot of people, and I loved this when you talked about it the first time you were on the stream. Let's pull it up real quick. This cover right here.
Oh yeah.
The ever-changing cover that if you buy it, this is the cover that will be unique to you because it is randomly generated.
Correct.
How did you come up with that? 2, what types of technology are you using to get a completely unique cover to everyone out? Like, was it easy? Was it hard? Was it just a good program that you were like, oh yeah, plug and play? No, or is it? How does that work? Because they buy it, right? And then I would imagine there's a lot of processes in between printing. And like I said, this cover here is not necessarily the cover they're going to get. They're going to get an amalgamation of this cover. But talk about that process, getting a unique cover to everyone. We're not like that. That seems crazy to me.
It is crazy, and we're doing crazy.
That's what it is.
We're doing crazy stuff here.
Yeah.
Before I answer that, I want to drop something in the chat.
Crazy guy.
No.
I'm gonna drop something in the chat. It's gonna look like gibberish, but I'm gonna drop a code in the chat, and it's gonna start with an underscore. And that underscore is a number between 1 and 0, or 0 and 9, I guess. Because 1 and 0, what is that? between 0 and 9 on the top row of your keyboard, there's a number that this underscore has replaced. And this is a $10 gift card to battlebrickroad.com. And if you want to back a book or whatever, you can do that. You just got to figure out what that number is.
Wait,
And
where's the
code.
chat? I didn't see you drop it in the
It's
chat.
right here. I just dropped it. It's right there.
Oh, okay, there it is.
So anybody in the chat, if you want to back Battle Brick Road and get that cover that I'm about to talk about, that will be unique to you. You can get it for $10 off with that code. You just need to figure out what that number, that underscore right there before the VC is a number between 0 and 9.
So they have to
1 and 0,
copy and
whatever it is
paste
on
it
your
and
keyboard.
replace that underscore with a number.
Yep.
You
At
you're-
checkout.
I hate you because I'm doing it right now.
Oh, it's okay. Would you like me to take over while you do that?
Yeah, you do that.
No.
Carol will
Okay.
co-host,
I probably
and I'll explain the cover.
can't
Yeah.
purchase tonight, but I
Let's
will
do it.
Go
you know
for
you
it.
want to. Look at that. That temptation's in his eyes.
I can see his
I
wheels are
do,
turning.
but there are reasons that we can't. There are other things that we have money going to. The chat understands those things. I've talked about them on
Yep.
Twitter this evening. But it's a thing. It's a thing. We'll see. We shall see.
It's a thing. I totally get it.
I will be. I will be picking up your book at some point in time. Like I will be doing this.
I'll stay tuned because maybe there'll be more gift card drops. Who the heck knows? It's this crazy time of year. So
Sir,
what
lay
we're
off
doing
the
right now
sauce.
with this cover, I haven't had it an ounce. This cover is everybody. Royce was right. You're going to get a unique cover. However many are printed is however many unique covers there are. So we'll be limited and numbered at that point. So if we're at 100 and some right now. If we sell 200, we'll print 200, maybe a little bit more. They'll be signed and numbered with a book plate. But every print of that book that comes out the printing press will have a different variation of the cover. So the placement of the characters, their rotation, their size, placement of the yellow bricks from our version of the Yellow Brick Road, the placement, size, density will be different for every cover. The reason we found out about this is the first campaign, we had a lot of trouble with our printer. They were moving very slowly, and it turned our fulfillment window from my wife and I could knock out our fulfillment in 3 days to this took like 4 months because we were constantly waiting for more and more. It was a nightmare.
Oh, God.
But these guys, there's some back behind the scenes stuff, but I wanted to give them a second chance. I was like, they were super apologetic about it. If we had any damaged copies, instead of a lot of them that want to take them back, they said keep them. So we had way more books than we ordered. I mean, we got a ton because there were a lot of errors to begin with. That's why we have our dinged and minted
so
books.
they took the hit on that.
They took the hit on it. Yeah.
Wow.
So I said, all right. And they apologized, said, we will do right by you this time. And by the way, one of the reasons there was such a delay is they had installed a new printing press, and it was just giving them all sorts of business.
Oh, no.
Not the good kind of business.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
New tech, and then all of a sudden they have to figure out that's a nightmare
Right.
for any business.
Yeah. And they're trying to, I was their first real company. They've done books and stuff, but real graphic novel. And they wanted to like make it right for us. And there were tons of issues. So we came to them when we were working on the second chance that we did Kickstarter for Battle Brick Road 1. I was like, all right, let's get this sorted out. Let's figure out what happened. If you guys can get this right, we'll continue doing business with you. And by the way, I work with a ton of other comic book creators. So
sorry,
I'm hearing something.
My phone was being retarded. I apologize. I don't know
That's
why
right.
it's doing things. I was just trying to charge it. That's all I wanted to do was charge it, and it decided it was going to play noises.
What were you saying, Eric?
So anyways, they're trying to make it right by us, and they did Battle Brick Road 1 reprint perfectly. And so like, all right, and they told us about that new printer that they had, a year and a half ago that was giving them trouble. Is all that trouble's ironed out. And they said, oh, hey, by the way, look at all this cool stuff we can do with it. And one of that things was that they can do collage printing, and a lot of that's just used on like product labels where it'll be like weird designs in the background. It's different every time, but it can do like 6 million. Nutella did like a 6 million different label campaign. And it's like, this is the same print, not the exact same printer, but the same model of printer that does that. Oh, and they just add this new technology that is a little bit different that lets you play with images on it instead of just weird shapes and colors. So I was like, we could do this with comic books. Like nobody's ever done this before. Let's do something crazy. So that's kind of what it was, is this specific model of printer that they use has this sort of collage technology that allows it to do a different print for every time it rolls a sheet of paper through. So instead of doing a cool print that was that way, I said, can you guys do a cover this way? I said, yeah. So we're doing a cover that way, and it's unique, and it'll come with it. It's sort of like a physical NFT if you think about it. It's your unique, one of a kind thing. So if you get 10 copies, every 10 copies is going to be different. So, which is pretty rad.
That's really cool.
That is a different, that I would say that is the modern interpretation of doing a serial number. But
it's like getting it numbered. Yeah.
But
it's unique.
Yeah, but instead of it getting it numbered, it's the image itself is different. That I love that, dude. I love that. That's so freaking cool, man.
Yeah, and then that also became like incentive because we're not on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or Fund My Comic. We built our own website. It's only going to be available there. We will eventually do Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and all those to reach further audiences. But this is like, no, I want to drive people to BattleBrickRoad.com, and one way to do that is have an exclusive cover. I thought this is a fun way to do that.
I would almost, it's not just an exclusive cover. It is a unique to purchase cover. I mean, that's a little bit of a mouthful, but there's not there. I can't think of anybody else out there that's doing that. And the fact that you had the opportunity, and you not only had the opportunity, they were like, oh no, this new printer does this thing. And you were like, wait a tick. The fact that light bulb went off in your head, dude, that's freaking incredible.
Thank you.
Like go on.
We had Kenneth Rocafort do a variant cover with the first book. It's like, how do you turn people's heads when you don't have Kenneth Rocafort for the next book? I mean, that guy is amazing. So like, well, we got this thing, we got this idea. Let's try that. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's fun, and it's not just unique in that it's not just like, oh, this is cool, let's do this. It's like it tells a story. It tells within the cover itself, and it'll make sense when you read the book. It'll make more sense too. That you'll be like, oh, that's what's going on. So there's a bit more, they're lost in the Yellow Brick Road, that whole thing. Like, where are we? There also, every character is being attacked or affected by something that's also within the series too. So it all ties in together. It's got all sorts of layers going on.
No, it's super cool.
Sorry, I actually have your webpage pulled up here, and you're talking, and I'm staring at the pictures of the book that you're talking about because they all look.
I remember when you initially talked about the cover concept, because we were on a different stream, and like I don't know if you guys actually saw it, but like the whole not the whole Ripper crew, I'd say about like 60% of us were there, and we were all kind of like, that's so fucking cool. Like you could see it like in all of our faces, because that's like, that kind of thinking is so like, I don't want to say forward thinking because now that becomes a redundant sentence. But
it's out of the box. It's out of the box.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's really me saying that you're super smart, and I like being around smart people. And sometimes it's like you do things, and I'm like, this guy's too cool. Like I'm just gonna like, maybe that will rub off on me. I don't know.
Well, maybe
it's never worked for me. Sorry.
Hang out more, I guess.
I am not. Yeah. I am not that dude at all.
But now I have to top it, right? So what do I do for book 3? Or I just like, you know what, just one cover. That'll be the thing. It's like no variant, just one cover. Boom. Nobody's doing that anymore. You ever heard of just a one cover comic book?
No,
think you
because they're
have.
always trying to appeal to like collectors right now, right?
Mhm.
Like the variants for
mean,
collectors.
Yeah,
So if you're gonna do
even
a
I
cover,
did it.
it's got to be one of those cover that changes images, like when you shift it.
The lenticular. Yeah.
Yeah, but instead of two-way images, it needs to be able to shift like in all different ways. If you
Okay.
could figure out, that, which I'm just being retarded at this point. But if you could figure out a comic where if you're holding it straight in front of you, it looks one way, but if you shift it with like, I don't know, you can have 4 or 8 or, I mean,
Oh no, do it like
different-
the old Magic Eye thing where the picture's there, but you have to like stare at it cross-eyed for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or
This
you
is an
set a special,
escalation
like,
thing that's going to be a
glasses with it,
problem.
and you put the glasses on, and you can see the hidden text
the secret.
underneath.
Mhm.
Right?
By
Oh,
Battle
sell
Brick
the-
Road issue 12, it's just going to have no cover, and it's just going to say "Use your imagination."
Have a
Dude.
character with glasses, and you have to sell the glasses to see the cover.
Yes. Okay. So, in all honesty, I was watching a Michael Bancroft stream, and he was just doing like sketches, like sketches, and I was like, I want that cover. Or no, it was like he had the book, but he was like sketching on it to do like sketch covers, and I was like, none of that. I want the blank cover of your book. That's what I want. It just plain white paper, the cover. Maybe you write on it in terrible handwriting what the book is. That's the cover that I want. And everybody's like, oh, that's kind of funny. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like,
Well, that'd be easy to do.
like I want, well,
It just says number 6.
well, so I again, and God, I hate that I have to do this. So,
Don't knock
Mr.
anything
Richard,
down, Royce.
No, Richard sent me so I ordered Anvil #1, the Anvil of the Iron Age magazine. And because my friends are meme lords, they decided to meme me and send this to me. I mean, it's just a wraparound for the book. However, when they
Beautiful.
sent this to me, my first thought was, they just sent me, because nobody else has this, they just sent me a
Yep.
one-of-a-kind anvil,
Correct.
period.
Mhm.
So if for some reason Richard blows up, he's selling millions of Anvil magazines across the world, I am the only one who has a sealed in the freaking wrapping, and I opened it on stream to prove that I did. Like, cover like this. I am the only one with this anvil wrapping around it. And so my collector brain went, yeah, you guys laugh, but you just gave me something that's going to be worth money one day.
Yep.
So when I look at what you're doing, Eric, I'm just like, it makes me think of the old coins and printing, and like when misprintings would happen on coins and some of them
Yeah.
would enter circulation. My dad and I, we used to, my dad has a big coin collection at his house, and we used to go through the coins and we would see the double stampings and things like that. We actually have a coin that my dad was never able to, we were never able to find that misprinting of it. And it may or may not be worth a lot of money, but we can't. We would have to have it authenticated and this, that, and the other thing. But it had a printing on it that was never, we researched for weeks to try to find anybody else who had this. But it essentially had a double stamp of the D for the Denver Mint on it. And nowhere else could we find this. And it was just the double stamp of the D, nothing else. And it was an older coin. So when I hear what you're doing here, maybe you could do something like that for a cover. Go look at what misprintings of coins and draw ideas from that. Oh, a double stamp, and then the next book maybe has it's the smear cover, or I don't know how complicated.
Lion
all this
has
stuff
2
gets.
heads.
The lion, the two-headed lion. Like, you could really take this into just a fun place and like look at coin collections and go, well, wait, what makes a coin collectible when it's misprinted, and maybe add that into what you're doing.
I mean, there have been misprints of comic book covers that are,
Worth
super
lots.
rare and super valuable these days. So
Yeah.
that's all over the place. And sometimes, my brother collected baseball cards when we were growing up, so that you would get misprints in those too. And now in this day and age, I think, I wonder if some of those were intentional at some point. But who knows? I mean, I could do that. I think what we will do for the next book is like go to the printer and say, all right, what else can you do? Because
That's a good idea.
they're like
Okay, now you're
they're like
making way
throw
too
ideas
much
at
sense.
us.
I have
Yeah,
too
what-
much beer
what
in
else
me,
you
and you're
got?
making way too much sense.
They have said that. Like we have meetings with them every so often, and they're like, we want to try weird stuff. So like, give us ideas, whatever you want. Let's see if we can come up with. And it's part of the reason why we came up with the poster book that we were doing.
Mhm.
Is again, we had a supplemental book with the first campaign, and I was like, how do I can't do that again, not the same way, because we put a lot of content in there's not enough for the second book to make like a sequel to that supplemental book. And other creators and friends of mine have done like art books where it'd be like, draw your character, we'll put them all together in one book. It's like a like a bikini issue or whatever. And it's like, well, how do we do something like that but make it a little bit different? And so that's why we came up with that 11 by 17 pull-out print book, where you're going to be able to buy the book and the prints are in the book, and you can keep it that way, or you can tear them out and hang them up. But they'll be 11 by 17, which is sort of your standard comic book print size that you get at any convention. So
That's
all with artwork from all of my friends. So
that's freaking cool, dude. That's freaking cool.
I have a question. I know it's your stream,
Yes.
but I invited myself.
Actually, the chat invited you.
Yes.
There was a.
Oh, that's
Oh.
even better.
Don't give the chat
That's better.
power. Please don't give the chat power.
Mr. Weathers, I have a question for you. What was one of the first comics that really wowed you?
X-Men #1.
Yeah.
1991. That was my first Jim Lee comic book. I didn't know his stuff before then, and you see the animated series and all that, and I got X-Men #1. The gatefold cover, like that, blew me away. I was like, how is this a thing? This is amazing. And then in the back there were all those other pinups, like there was the hero pinup. They were like laying around the pool, or the villains, or like you'd open it up and there was like all of them, so that vertical one with all the heroes, like cannonballs flying up there, and Strong Guy and everybody else in between. And that one I poured over that constantly. So that was definitely my wow comic book.
Maybe you could do a fold-out pinup like that one.
There you go.
I could. I would have to do a floppy, I think. Well, no, you don't have to, because I have a couple of trades that still have that fold out stuff. Yeah, could do that. See, in the floppies they do that, and the opposite side is like an ad. It's prime ad space. But I'd have to like double it and just have, because if you gatefolded it, then each side would.
What if you turned those extra pages into like a behind the scenes thing? Because readers always like to see like those sketches and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good idea.
Like you open it, like it lines up. Like, this is the pencil drawing. This is the
We talked with a creator. He's actually making kind of an Amara manga, but Yakov Merkin is doing Amaranth Angels, and he has actually designed panels throughout Amaranth Angels, television screens, billboards in the
displays.
background.
Yeah.
But all of it's empty space, and his top tier was, if you would like to advertise your thing, he's like, preferably like this is when I'm going to get it out to people. So make sure, so if you think you're going to advertise your comic then, but basically we just pluck that and put it right in the background, and it's in a billboard, or it's in a television screen or whatever. But it's, he was selling advertising space in his comic book for his release.
Yep.
In a way like that.
It's a clever way of doing it, other than just like throwing ads in the back.
Right.
Yeah, it was like
I bought one.
Yeah, dude, you've got to like, after you're done reading it, like, wait, you bought ad space?
Yeah, I bought ad space in Amaranth Angel. Yeah,
I need to buy.
I wanted to back it, and I was like,
dude,
this is awesome. It's a cool idea.
But
I designed a sort of a future teaser of things for G Sedai. So those who are familiar and are fans of my series will see that ad, and it's going to be kind of a this is what you're going to see in the future of this particular series.
That's pretty
And
cool.
yeah, it's just
it was fun.
Getting to talk with so many different creators, like and it just the different ways that everybody's mind wraps around similar topics. You know, doing the fold out page, like like Caro said, the and things like that. The pinup style fold out pages, the advertising space, the changing the changing covers. I mean, a comic that adds just those three elements into it could be game changing in a lot of areas.
There was a comic. Sorry.
No, go for it. Don't apologize.
There was a comic that I did some lettering for. It was called Skits, and in the character in the comic book is schizophrenic, and they did a version of their book. Well, they did 3 versions. There was a sequence, depending on what cover you got. The sequence in the book was different, or like 2 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So like they had to print 3 different copies, but the story was the same, but the sequence played out differently depending on what cover you got. So even the interior pages were different, which I think was a pretty neat thing to do. Yeah,
nuts.
Yeah.
I don't.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to think about that. Like, no, like legitimately, like that's. But again, there's what's so cool is that you hear how every different creator is attacking a different problem, right?
Mhm.
They're not even attacking the same problem. They're all just like, oh, I see this problem. I'm gonna go after that one. And
Yep.
everybody that we talk to just has this slightly different idea of what they're gonna pick at. And one of these days, I think somebody is gonna wake up and go, all of these guys talked about all these problems, and it's gonna be a game changer, period, for the industry. And
I hope so.
I think that's the thing that all of us can hope, because I mean, we can all hope that it would only be good for us, right? The people who are buying this stuff.
At least we get to be entertained.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Right?
Right?
At the very least, right? I mean, that's what we're ultimately, we want to be entertained. It's
absolutely,
that's like the gist of it there, but a little bit more than that, but that's a big bulk of it.
Yeah. Well, before we go to super chats, do you have anything else that you would like to say? Caro, is there anything I missed?
I just wanted to brag. I wanted to brag about one thing, because my copy came with a sketch from Eric.
Oh no.
Oh, it's very white. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's cool.
I have not taken it out of the wrapper yet, because I'm going to put it in a frame. But
thank you.
Nice.
The funny story is that when I ordered it because I really wanted to support Eric's comic, but I actually had forgotten about it because I was in the middle of a move from Florida to Texas, and Eric was so kind because my order got returned, and he was like, "I need your address," and I was like, "I'm so sorry." And so he sent it to me, and when the order arrived, I had all of it laid out on the counter. My husband was like, "How many did you order?" And I was like, "Enough. That's how many I ordered." But I wanted to brag about that.
A big backer.
I wanted to back it. And I want to make, here's how much he has changed my life, because I backed the other one, right? But I didn't just back it. I also got the vinyl that's on there too. I didn't have a vinyl player. I had to go buy one.
You're not the first person to say that, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm single-handedly helping the vinyl industry sell more turntables.
Yes. Yep. So I've slowly developed a collection over here, and I've actually really enjoyed it, because then I get to take these out and just listen to music behind me. So that's been great. Thank you. Anyway, I wanted to share that story, and that's me. Thank you. You can go to super chats now.
I love vinyl.
Certain vinyls sound good. I have my thoughts on that.
I love it. I have a Motorola in the living room.
Oh, I have to tell you something because I think you may have missed it, but the twins are here.
I did see the twins. I
Okay.
thought
I
said
didn't see you
hello.
say
Oh,
hi to
maybe.
them.
Did I not say hi to them?
I didn't see it. Maybe you did.
I'm sorry.
I
Hello,
didn't see that either.
the Saska sisters. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
If I didn't say hello, I deserve shame. Although I see all kinds of scary images of you doing horrible things to people in your movies, so maybe I don't
That's
want
what happens
shame
when
from
you
the
don't say
Saska
hi to them.
sisters.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the problem
Royce.
is that they want to be friends with my wife, and my wife might be just like, no, let's do it. No, I'm not down
Yes.
for that. No.
Yes.
But no, if I did not say hello to the Saska sisters, I absolutely apologize for that.
That's a perfect storm right there.
Yeah, I've been a little bit dazed since about 4:30 this afternoon. So I'm not. Yeah, my brain is not working the way it normally does today. But again, we'll get into that a little later. Let's get over to super chats. Ram for $2 says Mr. Weathers Battle Brick Throw. Battle Brick God.
Battle
It's
Brick
Battle
God.
Brick
There you go.
Road.
Yeah.
Battle Brick
Sound
God.
it
That
out.
could be your sequel series.
Actually, yeah, Battle Brick God. Battle Brick Road 3 when? Hi, chat.
Oh, well, I mean, let me get this one out. We're over. I'm like 53% done with the lineup, but I'm really trying to get the lineup done by April. So we're pushing really, really hard right now.
There you go, man.
Nice.
Frederick Guimont for a Canadian $5 says, did Eric get the monopoly of lettering Iron Age books because he's the best or because he has eliminated the competition? Sorry for the
Yes.
Canadian currency. There you go.
Yep.
Was it in the trunk and then to the river, or was it like, how did you eliminate the
Don't ask
competition?
him that.
That
That is an incriminating question.
What's not? Only if
As
he
your
answers
fake lawyer, I advise you not to answer that.
Just want to know. Was it? I just want to know. Was it an unfortunate incident, or was how did he get
Fell
rid
down
of the
some stairs.
fell down some
Yep.
stairs?
Yep.
Okay.
She ran into the door, Your Honor.
They fell, as the Marines like to say.
Yep.
Oh god.
What
Oh,
happened
Ram!
was it
Oh,
fell up.
Oh god. Ram for $5 says, at Frederick Greenmont, your only mistake was saying that you're sorry, you Canadian. Don't apologize. He's right. Never apologize for something you don't need to apologize for. That makes you Canadian.
But he is Canadian.
No. Frederick Greenmont, he said, sorry for the Canadian currency.
Yeah.
He triple Canadianed me. Listen
Oh,
to this
okay.
sentence. Sorry for the Canadian currency.
Fair enough.
It's Canadianception when people do that. You just stop it, chat. Eric, do you understand any of this Canadian reference at all? No.
I don't speak Canadian. No, I don't.
No. Okay.
It's all
No. So
foreign.
a pet peeve of mine. We were talking about pet peeves earlier. One of my pet peeves is so many people say sorry. It's actually one of the most popular words in the American language. So many people say sorry for things that they don't need to say sorry for. So on my channel, I am trying to get people to stop saying sorry for things they don't need to say sorry for. Like, oh, sorry, I'm late to the chat. I was at church. Why the fuck are you saying sorry? You were with God. Just say, hey, I'm late. I was with God. Like, don't apologize. And so if you apologize for something you shouldn't, because most Canadians do, you're Canadian. Don't be Canadian. Right?
Okay.
Right? That's where it's at. And people, like, it's not just saying sorry. Like, if something bad happens to someone, or if there is something that you genuinely need to show remorse for, that doesn't make you Canadian. That makes you human. When you say sorry for something you shouldn't, you're Canadian. Just stop it. And I should know because I'm
Noted.
mostly Canadian. I know, really long.
You've said
explanation.
sorry a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't
That-
going to point it out, but I was
there's-
thinking it.
I was gonna say he needs like a mousse and some maple syrup at this point.
Moose and
So I am mostly Canadian. I'm mostly English, French, and Irish Canadian. Not even a joke. That's not even remotely close to a joke. Michael Sandon came over from the anyway. It's never mind. We won't get into that. 1700s, Nova Scotia. It's a thing.
Okay.
A.S. Brunner says, question. Sorry, I apologize, guys.
Stop saying sorry.
Yeah,
Stop
now
it.
you're doing it.
Read the super
He's
chat. Read it
caught
right
in the
now.
loop.
It's caught in the apology loop. The Canadian.
It's hard.
Kennedy gauntlet.
You can't. It's in
You
my
just led shit
blood.
about why people should not do it, and then your excuse
Jay,
is
but
like,
you
it's
all
so
are not
hard to do
Canadian.
though.
Like,
This
it's
is
not in
this
your
is
blood.
rough.
Don't be as Canadian as me. I just want all of you to be better than me. And I'm Canadian, so
It can't be that hard.
it's pretty rough.
Please read the super chat.
Carol. All right. Asbert, this is not a super chat. This is just a chat that I caught going by. But Asbert says, question. I'm working on designing my own alphabet. I have no idea how I'd make it so I can type it on the computer. It can't be that different from making your own script. Any advice on how to go about that?
Yeah, there are a few things, a few places you can do that. If you have an iPad Pro, there's an app called I'm going to forget all the app names. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's called there it is. iFont Maker, and you can build your alphabet there and save it out as a font that you can use anywhere. There are also versions on the PC. There are plugins. There's a plugin for Adobe Illustrator called Font Self. It's like $50, but same thing. You can make your own fonts. That's what I have used. And then there's like high-end things. I think it's called Fontbook is the font thing for Mac. It's called, I forget what it's called. Font is in the name, but that's like a high-end Foundry. That's what everybody uses when they're making like their fancy design fonts and stuff. So the programs are out there, plugins or iPad apps or whatever. So yeah, and like that. I think that app was, if it wasn't free, it wasn't that expensive for the iPad. So
There you go. Good sir. Thank
there
you.
you go. Font Self and iFont Maker. Good places to start.
Kikomon for $5. Kikomon song for our guest. Woo. All right.
We haven't done it in a while. So
We haven't done it in a while. Eric,
I
strap
think
in.
the Kikomon one.
Well, he sent in a super chat. I was supposed to, Caro, did you send this to Eric July?
I did send it to him. I don't know if he watched it because his follow-up message to me was, when's my meeting on Monday? So he may have watched it. So I'm letting you know.
I got a
What am I
$500
getting
super
myself
chat
into?
to show that to Eric July. You should probably remind him.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Somebody
Next time
paid
he's
him
at the
$500.
warehouse, be like, I gotta show you a thing. It's like really important. And
That's
then
all
I'm
right.
just gonna show it to him, and he's probably gonna sit there and look at it for a while, and then look at me, and then I can explain.
No,
So-
no, all you have to do is say, "Hey, remember that $500 that came in on a Drink with Crazies chat? Yeah, this is what he'll get it. He'll appreciate
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll make it happen.
It's-
Just the difference between now and then is I haven't been able to corner him in the warehouse, so it's
No,
really
it's
hard. That's.
it's fine. I wouldn't want to corner that guy. I'm going to be honest. He seems a little bit,
I'm not
wiry.
afraid.
Caro,
All
they're
right, Eric
afraid of
Withers,
me.
this is the Kikomon. This is the Kikomon song.
So I've got a minute and 54 seconds to
All right.
strap in.
I have
Yep.
no idea. I don't know if I should apologize, how to apologize. Just here we go.
の星からやってきた正義の使者だキッコーマン醤油をたちまちかけたなら食べ物食うとうまくなる外食なんてぶっ飛ばせ必殺技だキッコーパンチ目玉焼きには醤油だろ
Royce is the cat, by the way.
Fuck off!
Show me, show you, Kiko Man, Kiko Man. Show me, show you, Kiko Man. 大豆の星からやってきたいかつあいつはキッコーマン醤油は体にいいんだぜさっきさようの
Oh no.
そうそうケチャップ目じゃないぜ必殺技キッコーマンだから卵焼きにも醤油だってんだろ
See, Royce.
Fuck off.
Show you, Kiko Man, Kiko Man. Show me, show you, Kiko Man. Alright.
There's a whole lot of crotch shots in this video.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you right now, as somebody who has seen that video many times at this point,
Mm-hmm.
it gets funnier every time you watch it. It's one of those ones. The first time you see it, you're like, "What the?" After about the 10th time you see it, you're just like, "All right, I get it." And it's just
You start dancing like
Play it again. You're gonna want it on final. Is what you're gonna want.
Yeah.
Probably. The Lord Otter, a member chat for 8 months, man. And by the way, I have to find it, and his book has a different spine. If you guys don't mind me showing this, the Lord Otter just released his very first book. 2 years it took him to do this, and I've been hearing good reviews from it, so I haven't
Is that a
cracked it.
hardcover?
It is a hardcover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is a hardcover. No, it is. And we've had him on the show to talk about it, man. He's got some great reviews. So if you guys are looking for a new fantasy novel, sword and sorcery type stuff, go check out the Lord Otter. But I feel like I got to shout out the boys when I can.
It
the
does
Lord
not,
Otter,
in fact, have otters in it.
No, it doesn't have otters in it.
That's
It
false
does sound like a
advertising.
betrayal.
It says
Yeah.
Lord Otter as the author.
Yeah, it does say Lord Otter as the author. I love this day and age of the internet. Pseudonyms are awesome now. Like, you just get like Vengeance Death Marauder as like a freaking like pseudonym.
The
on a
author of this
book.
children's book.
You could.
Can you,
Okay.
Caro? Caro, I know you're working on a goat comic.
Yeah.
Can your pseudonym be Vengeance Death Marauder?
I mean, I could probably change it to that. I actually found out through my my website lady because she does SEO consulting, and she came to me and she's like, "Where'd you get your pseudonym from?" And I was like, so I told her the story, right? And she's like, "Well, like I don't know how to tell you this, but your name is actually the name of a town in England with the highest crime rate there." And I was like, "Really?"
Whoa.
And so I was like, "That's amazing. I'm gonna go represent. I'm gonna be violent."
Oh god. The Lord Otter, member for 8 months on the channel, says saddest part of this stream is no Santa Richard. Yeah.
No.
It's true.
We just got General of the Nutcracker Army.
So Evelyn Music, and
Feels like
he
a
had to-
downgrade.
Yeah, a little bit.
It was. It fucked with me last week. Evelyn Music says, "What's the best word you've gotten to write, or your favorite word?" And he elaborated a little bit, and I don't remember what the elaboration was, but like, what's the most like? Is there a word that you remember being able to, just a single word that? And he also. That like the sounds, the noises. What are those called? Like in the comics, like the pows.
Sound effects or onomatopoeias.
Yes,
or sound
onomatopoeias. So it was.
It's funny that question was asked because I'm actually wearing that word right now on my chest.
Oh wait, no
'Cause I
shit.
had a T-shirt. Yep.
No shit.
Splort.
Yeah.
Splort. No kidding.
Yeah.
Splort.
That's it right there.
That's awesome.
That's when you really like
this,
a word.
This sound effect actually has a story behind it. It took a life of its own. It was in the original Jawbreakers. There's a scene
That's
where
cool.
I forget the characters' names, but they punch the giant gorilla and it pops his eyeball out, and the eyeball lands on another guy. And in the script, it was like it lands on him and then he rolls away. Like there's a little comedy moment. And in the script, Richard had written something about putting in a sound effect, and he didn't know what to put. So the prompt was like, I don't know, sound effect of an eyeball hitting the ground, giant eyeball, like something like that. And that's what I came up with, was splort. And then people have loved it, and I hide it. I don't do it in every single comic, but I do hide it, and I put it in comics when I find an opportune moment to do so. So that's my signature word / sound effect.
Dude, that's fucking great. Now we need a superhero comic, Splort.
Yep.
Splort.
Dude, that's great, man. I'm so glad that question got it. That's so cool. Never listen to me. I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me at all. All right. What? Stop being Canadian. Kid, come on for $2. Says, Royce, be a goat and buy a soy-fed goat. Caro,
What?
I blame you for this.
No.
Yes.
You started
I like
this.
the be a goat one.
I don't know. I feel like Royce
Just
might be onto
because
something.
I
Might be.
have it on my calendar and I made a Twitter and I routinely post pictures and I'm doing a comic doesn't mean that this is my fault. You
And a
started it.
crowdfund.
It's true. The GoFundMe.
Yep.
GoFundMe.
She literally like, I'll wake up and I'm like, all right, well, check the stuff for the day. Do I need to message anybody? Like, and like, it's like 4:30 in the morning. I'm like sitting on the edge of my bed. I'm like, all right, do I need to message anybody? And I'm like, all right, let's open Twitter. And it's like, hey, everybody, let's remind Goat Daddy. And I'm just like, we're just going to skip that for now. Oh, I'm not.
Close this app and
we're just
never
gonna
look at
close
it
that.
again.
I'm helping.
I say good morning to the Gilded and I go to the morning routine and shower. And it's like on my way to work. And I'm just like, I better like the tweet. Caro's working hard.
Mm-hmm.
Make me feel bad. Maji Chance's question for Eric.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a comic letterer, but is there specific details or something that draws you into a project?
The paycheck. No.
I would
but really,
I would actually absolutely accept that answer. I think that could be. I think there are certain things where you're just not into it to a point where you just couldn't.
I can't be into every book I work on.
Yeah,
I can't. That's
No.
not possible.
Right.
But no, there are those books where I'm genuinely excited. To be like a part of a team of maybe some creator that I've known about for decades. It's like, wow, I'm working with Chuck Dixon. I got to work with him on several books at this point. I think my first book with Chuck Dixon was a small book by a publisher called Cautionary Comics. He did a book. I forget what it was called. I think he wrote that. Or like he did a treatment for it or something. I think that was the first book I did with Chuck. But yeah, those are the big ones. It's like even if it's like, oh, who did the cover on that? That's pretty cool. Like I'm doing a Dragon Rage book and there's a Dave Finch cover, and that's cool. Like I had a Roquefort cover, so that the comic nerd in you is like, okay, I get to work with this person. That's cool. So that's always a big one. It's like I got to work with Joe Bennett on Alpha Core. That's pretty rad, so
that's cool.
as you sip your drink, no big deal.
As I sip my late night coffee that my wife brought me. So.
I need coffee. I don't know. I probably need other things, but those
Water.
aren't legal.
More
No.
booze.
Water's legal. Anyway, Kikomon for $2 says, and oh God, I don't think I can do this voice. Let's see if I can do this voice.
Oh boy.
They're turning the frogs gay.
They're turning the frogs gay.
They're turning the frogs gay. Oh God. The Ultimate Una for $1.99. It says, it's me. I always help your stream. You say that, but you're also chat, so never
Don't worry,
trust the
chat.
chat.
I appreciate you, chat. I'm here
Stop
for
it.
you.
Shh, don't
Me
tell them
too.
to stop it. Caro,
I don't even know what chat is. I don't know what you guys are talking
There's a
about.
great
Love
question here
Eric.
from Snow. If you don't have more chat, super chat. I like this question.
Let me go
Ooh.
save that real quick. I will actually save that really
A
quickly.
snow
Bam.
question?
I like
Yes,
Snow
a snow
question.
Nope. I will save that. It'll come up because I don't. That's the thing is I don't just read super chats. If I can catch the questions or my co-hosts help me catch the
I'm
questions.
helping.
We read.
I don't help.
No, he sits there and he drinks.
He's just here. I'm just
Yep.
here, guys.
Daniel follows.
I'm here to drink and make comments.
Daniel follows the Friday night rule: more drinky, less thinky.
There you go.
Kikomon
You
for $2.
damn right.
Show me the leather bound. Oh shit! I was supposed to go get that. Yes, I am. I told everybody that I would go get the leather bounds. Give me a minute.
Yes,
I will be-
unboxing
Oh.
time.
Yes, unboxing time. I mean, I already unboxed them, but you know, we'll pretend. Chat, will you pretend with me? I'll be back. Give me
We'll
just a
pretend.
minute.
Oh,
They won't
okay.
pretend.
We're in charge now. Hello.
Did he say he was
Ha-ha.
sorry?
Yeah, you can say it as many times as you want now.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry about that.
No.
You've got a new
No.
setup in your office now.
Yeah, I rearranged. We moved. My office is not just my office. It's also like the family room. So we moved stuff around, and I took a corner that I wanted. I still got to hang up for the rest of my Ninja Turtle prints, but
I
Oh,
thought
that's so
that was
cool.
that what it was, but your background
here, let me,
blurred. So I've been like staring at it all night, going,
I'll show
I
you.
wonder what those awesome pictures on the wall are.
Let me find the studio. Is that it? That's not it. Portrait mode.
Oh, so
No.
it's the general dome shape, and I'm like, is that a Ninja Turtle?
Oh, it's not turning off the blur, right? It's not wanting to do that yet. So
That's okay. I now know
Oh,
what they
yeah.
are, so I can
there are
imagine.
these realistic style portraits of the Ninja Turtles by an artist that I greatly admire by the name of Dave Raposa. They're all four of them.
Ooh,
And he also did
very
this,
cool.
which is behind me over here. It's Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh, that's
as
cool.
well.
Oh,
In
okay.
two different styles, but again, they're all in that blurry stuff. I'll have to take photos of them or whatever. So
Yeah.
post them on Twitter. Post them
awesome.
on X.
X. Twix.
Twix.
X,
We call it
Twix.
Twix. It's
Twix.
Twix over here.
Sorry.
Here
I
on
want that to
IAK,
be-
we call
I
it
am-
Twix.
I legit want that to become popular enough that Elon finds out that like my community made it popular and he bans me.
Or he has to buy Twix.
There you go.
That would be great. So guys,
Just the left Twix.
so this is I guess I have to go full screen for this. I do apologize to the co-hosts and the guests, but I've got to go.
He's hiding me.
So this is the absolutely fantastic. And
Ooh.
this thing actually has a lot of weight
It's
to
a
it. My wife and I
sword.
checked that. Yeah, this is the sword from Shadowversity's book. That is the letter opener. This thing has some weight to it, guys. This thing, it is unbelievably awesome. I absolutely love it. My wife was actually afraid to hold the books, but this is a very, very special gift. This was from Kikomon, who purchased this for me last year. So I was not able to purchase these. Kikomon decided that he was going, guys, these are the leather bound editions of Shadow of the Conqueror. I cannot tell you the feel that these have. These are insane. And they did the gold filament on the
Yep.
on the ends there. I believe it's
I remember
filament.
Shad saying that.
And then this, it hasn't even been opened. This is the Shadow of the Conqueror leather bound book. Still in the wrapping.
It's pretty cool.
Like
I want to do a leather-bound Battle Brick Road someday.
Kikomon, thank you
Sweet.
so much. Like
Means I'm gonna
seriously,
have to buy
Kikomon.
another one.
I still have to buy one. I blame my children. I have 4 children that keep me from buying all the books that I want. Am I allowed to do that? Maybe not. Probably not.
Just for a couple more years, and then you don't get to use that excuse.
Right. Absolutely. But no, seriously, Kikomon, thank you. No, the books are absolutely fantastic. They're unbelievable. Like I'm scared. They actually, you can tell that they're really high quality for the indie space because
He used a custom printer for
he actually, and I believe it was, oh god, who's the fantasy author that everybody talks about all the time? Can't remember his name. Real big guy.
You narrowed it down to like 90% of them.
Yeah, which one?
Okay,
like the most famous guy of famous guys right now.
Right now, you mean like modern?
Brandon Sanderson?
Yeah,
yes,
that guy.
Okay.
Actually, he ended up talking with Brandon Sanderson about the guy he used for the printing books because he had problems. So Brandon Sanderson actually talked with Shadiversity, if I remember correctly. But no, it's unbelievably, dude, those books are incredible. I cannot wait to crack into them. I have some projects that I have to do prior to that. Things I'm very excited for. Again, I hope I will be announcing something here in January. As long as long as medical issues and just life things can, for lack of a better term, knock it the fuck off. Because this last week, I lost a week worth of things that I wanted to do and get done because of just life. And if life can just knock it the fuck off, hopefully in January, by the end of January, I'll be announcing the thing that I will want to be.
It never quits.
Dude,
put a helmet on.
But generally, it doesn't involve medical issues and doggo separation and all that. Like it's anyway. All right. Sorry, I'm slowly losing my mind here. Turns out today sapped all my energy, and even Eric was like, "Royce, can you do this?" Eric, do you think I was able to pull it off? Was I able to do this or no? Should I have just stopped before we even started the show?
What should I say? What do I do now? I feel, I don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
Royce, you did wonderful.
You did great.
You did great.
He's powered by beer. He'll be fine.
I'm powered by beer. I'm fine. Stop
it's like
giving
Popeye.
me
Instead of a can of spinach, it's like and then
oh
the
my
muscles.
god! I need to do a spin on Popeye the Sailor Man now, where the guy just chugs beer and that gives him power. And there are people like that,
like an actual sailor.
Yeah. He should be, instead of like Popeye the Sailor Man, it's got to be like something. It's got to be something like just like on the nose. But
we'll figure it out. It'll come to us eventually.
I feel like it should be like a roughneck in like the oil field, right? Yep. It's got to be like a roughneck in the oil field, that hardworking man, because sailors were the hardworking men back in the day. What would his name be? What would the roughneck in the oil field who gets power by drinking beer? What's his name?
We'll come up with something cool.
Come on. Well, I'm asking the chat.
No, because the chat has no power according to you. You can't pick or choose.
Why are you tapping the chat after insulting them?
You know what you should do?
They're gonna end up naming. They're gonna end up naming the character Gay McGay.
My show, my rules. Chat, go.
You let chat do it, you get a name like Bodie McBoatface.
Yeah, you remember that one time DeviantArt like collabed with like Eve Online, right? Yeah. To like design the next like spaceship, and they made a plank of wood. I was just like, as somebody who was playing Eve at the time, I was like, you guys are idiots. Like, that's not like, and they were all like, tee, we made a plank of wood. I was like, I can't kill people with a plank of wood like that. Okay, not in space.
Never underestimate the power of meme lords.
What you should do is you should put that question in your Guilded, so that way you can, drive people to go and be in your Guilded and, be active there.
I think the most not surprising thing about this revelation is that you used to play EVE Online, and that makes complete sense.
I used to name all my ships after something related to unicorns because I was a girl playing Eve, and that's like, finding the unicorn, right? So I had unicorn bomber, unicorn Weber, unicorn stealther, like I had all of it.
Oh shit!
The armada of unicorns.
I'm not even kidding. Oh,
I'm just
God.
thinking concepts. Like I've got this picture in my head of this like scrawny, basic, workhorse oil rig guy, and then he chugs a beer and immediately turns into like Incredible Hulk sized dude.
Okay, so do you have any idea how much that actually I mean, they don't physically change size, but I know dudes
But
that
your
they get
ego.
dude, they get 3. I know dudes that are about my size, and you get about 3 beers in them, and they will lay out anybody you put in front of them, and it does not matter how big they are.
That sounds like a Marine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And these dudes can take a hit. I knew a guy my size got kicked in the face by a horse and walked around for 9 hours. He collapsed in my garage 9 hours later, by the way. Yeah. This is a guy that drunk dudes used to fight him. He's like, all right, I'll give you one. Come on. And it's like, what the there are some guys out there that are just insane. By the way, after the guys gave him the one, he goes, okay, my turn. Usually the guys back down. I saw it happen and I was just like, holy shit. And they're like, I was like, dude, you're nuts. He goes, dude, I've been kicked in the face by so many horses and cow. He's like, I don't even feel it when somebody punches me. And I'm just like, there's something wrong with you, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
It's called deadened nerves.
like, yeah.
Oh.
I've met him. You guys are hanging out with a redneck. What do you? All right, the ultimate kahuna
Minor
for
brain
$2.
trauma.
$2.
Of course, Of course, it may be noises. That's what speakers do.
Oh, that's when your phone went off.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. By the way, I apologize. That was
He's
bad.
not wrong.
That was bad. I hate bad audio quality. Anytime I get bad audio quality. But so here's what pisses me off too.
Wait. We're here for Eric Weathers. We're not here for your phone rant.
No, I was about to talk about Eric Weathers actually. And how
Okay.
much he
My
pisses
bad
me
audio.
off.
Okay.
And how much Eric pisses
No.
him off, apparently.
No, because I listen to Eric's audio and it is so much better than my audio.
Is it?
Oh, dude, you have no idea.
Oh,
You have
thank
no
you.
idea what I'm hearing with
should
your
apologize.
audio. Like it makes me mad. Like
But that
you're
would
just-
make you Canadian.
The ultimate kahuna for $2. Miniatures or statues are underutilized extras.
They also
they
cost
were-
a lot.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
that's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, and like
Or,
There's like
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
like
I-
no revenue in
Portable.
doing that. It's
Mm-mm.
purely for fan service.
I hate
I love
saying
them,
it.
but
Yeah.
much.
Like I think that's the one thing that always holds us up, like both as independent creators and like companies, when people are like, let's make figures. And it's like, well, okay, to do it in America, wow, that's a lot of money. To do it in China, wow, that's still a lot of money. Like, okay, maybe not
Mhm.
today.
Mm-hmm. All right, Snow. Dubious Dick, the Doom Scroller.
That's not her
Dubious
question. That's not the
Dubious-
question she asked
Dubious
either.
Dick. Dubious Dick. That could be.
Although
Chain gang.
I
Wait,
am
wait,
kind of
wait,
jiving
she
with
had another
dubious
one.
dick.
Chain Gang, Charlie, and the Chungus Among Us. All right. Oh God. Oh God. I don't think you've seen us drunk. I've seen some of the chat drunk, and I know because some of the chat has got drunk with me on smoker streams when I
Yeah, I've been drunk practically every night on the stream.
he was fucking schlitzed on the Eric July stream. That was funny.
Yeah, I watched your head go from like where it was, and then it just like kept going. And at one point you got back up, but then you gave up. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
I was so trying to stay at least like level. Like I was trying to stay at least here, but it just wasn't happening.
Here's the funny part. I was watching the chat because the chat was going nuts that night, so I was trying to like catch odd questions, things like that. I had no idea Daniel was that drunk until we got into the after show when he sat back and he goes,
As soon as the
he's
stream
like
ended,
breathing to keep himself coherent.
as soon as I saw it ended and it went gray, I was like, I'm fucking wasted. Holy shit.
I inspire bad habits and I'm not proud of this. Mario Trujillo for $2 says, Brian, Brian, I think he meant brain. He spelled Brian. I can pull it up here to prove it. Brian not working as normal. That's a bad thing. Well,
I think that's
I'm
part
sorry,
of the fun.
Brian. Do you deserve to get fired?
It reminds me of that Futurama episode
Right.
where Fry
Maji-chan.
rewrites everything
Oh,
for those
God,
big
yes.
brain aliens.
Yeah.
And the
oh,
brain's
God.
like, and now we leave for no good reason.
Maji-chan member for 11 months. Thank you so much, Maji-chan. He says, Royce needs a cookie and a hug. Well, I don't do a whole lot of sugar. And I will say this, as far as hugs are concerned, I married the person who is allowed to hug me, and that's my wife. I won't even go to a chiropractor.
A fine answer.
I won't even go to a chiropractor. People are like, no, you should go to the chiropractor. I'm like, no. I'm like, nope. I was like, there's one person on this earth that's allowed to touch me, and I put a ring on her finger. And people look at me, they're like, it's a chiropractor. I'm like, I don't care. In the words.
Go to chiropractic school and then you're set. Just a couple classes is all you're probably really need.
Right?
Yeah.
The IAK
Right.
barbecue stream is going
Some
to be
night
such
classes,
horror.
just some YouTube videos.
Right. In the words of Cusco, no touchy. Alt Simon.
I will just keep trying.
For $5, I'm not sure what that currency is. It's NZ. What is this?
New Zealand dollars.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Thank you so much. Should Royce buy a moose instead of a goat since he's being very Canadian today? Oh, fuck off. God damn. Actually, funny enough.
Many mooses. Many mooses.
Actually, funny enough.
Many much moose.
A joke since I've been in high school, and I don't remember how it started, but me and my buddy, a buddy of mine we were retarded. My wife witnessed it one day, and we always just joke. We go, moose. I don't know why we would do it. I have no idea. And to this day, just about every Christmas, my wife will buy me a little stuffed moose. So I have many stuffed moose throughout the house.
Many much mooses.
Yeah, mooses. What? Mario Trujillo for $2 says Royce's brain not work, so all is normal. Fuck off.
Haha.
Mario Trujillo for another $2. Oh, Canada, Royce. My brain is also not working. Oh, God. Dice Bag Games for $5. Daniel, did you get his message on Gilded?
I did. I joined the Gilded
I know.
server. I'm ready to play,
man. Yes, I need to find a faction and do this. Anyway, before we get any, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Eric, Dice Bag Games for $5. Eric, does your printer do poker-sized cards or just books? I have some card game ideas.
I think so. Because when we were there last time, I think they had a deck of cards, just a regular 52 card deck and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to do Battle Road cards. He goes, we do that kind of stuff all the time. I think that conversation happened. So I think so.
Is there a way that Dice Bag Games can get in touch with you privately about that, maybe to kind of connect the dots?
Yes. Just if you're on Twix, you can just DM me.
Yeah.
Or email me at ericweathersart@gmail.com.
And also Dice Bag, just get in touch with me, send me a DM, Eric, if you're okay with me DMing you, and I can kind of play media there. So for those of you who don't know, Dice Bag actually created a D&D style tabletop RPG combined with like Pokemon. So you go through this world, you capture creatures, and you use those creatures to battle throughout the world. The artwork is stunning. He's doing some really cool stuff with it. So
it
anything
looks
that we
super
can
fun.
Dude, it
That's
really
cool.
does. It really, really does. It looks like something that kids can play and adults can play and just really have a fun time with. And again, the artwork is whimsical. It's well thought out. It's very interesting, new characters, and he's really thought out the mechanics of it. So yeah. But Dicebag, just hit me up on Twix, or hit me up, or if you're in the Gilded, I think Dicebag's in the Gilded. I don't know. My brain's not working tonight, but just hit me up wherever. And
Well, I mean, we're in his Gilded now, technically, too.
oh wait, yeah, that's true. But hit me up and I will get you in touch with Eric Weathers to ask that question. Because that's what my channel is all about, is networking and stuff, and I'm super happy. RH Snow says, question: What
Yay.
collab did you do a fangirl squeal? Okay, that's all one word, by the way, a fangirl squeal when you found out. So did you do a collaboration where you just kind of fangirled over, like, holy shit?
Well, as a man, no.
Good answer.
But
But
I grew up in the 90s, and I really, really loved the game Earthworm Jim.
Yes.
And I lettered the Earthworm Jim comic book when it
Nice.
with Doug.
You're so cool.
that's
The hardcover the re-release thing that he did. I got to letter that.
You're so cool.
that's freaking cool.
So I think that was because I went to church, and I don't go to an old, I go to a young church, and people are like, I guess now I'm old. I turned 40 in a month, but there were people my
Welcome
age
to
there,
the olds.
and I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm gonna be working on Earthworm Jim comic book. It's just freaking amazing. And people are like, what was that? I'm like, who are you? How did you not grow up in the same 90s that I grew up in? So I just it was a little celebration for me only. But yeah, that was that was rad. Just being able to be a part of that Earthworm Jim.
That's super cool.
Epic.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The Ultimate Kuna for $5 says, yes, leather is premium and supreme. Get the leather on your books and get out of my closet. What the fuck? This is why you don't give power to the chat. It's things like that happen. We don't need. You see how awkward it is now?
It took
been
me a
awkward the whole
moment to
time.
figure
I don't know
it
what
out.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. But Tim Allen for $2. Mead is life. Life is mead. Mead for all. Get a goat. I have so many other things to worry about before that. Yeah. But
That's not a never, by the way. That's just before. Before that, he's got to do other stuff.
True.
But you guys are
He's
gonna be
already
really
admitted he's getting a goat.
Yeah, but you guys are gonna be really mad when I slaughter it and I cook it on the smoker. Or you'll really
That sounds
enjoy
delicious.
it does.
Yeah.
I've actually
It
heard from
sounds
people
good.
I've heard from people who love goat meat, and I've heard from people who hate goat meat. But I've never had it myself, so I don't know.
I'd eat it.
I'm willing to try anything, dude.
For science.
For science! Come here, goat. Oh. Eric Weathers, good sir, where can we find you and what do you do?
You can find me everywhere. I'm everywhere. Look behind you right now. I'm probably there on your bookshelf, actually.
It's right here on my desk.
Yeah.
Not yet.
You can find me
He's
on
here.
X,
He's
Twix, at
He's-
Eric_Weathers. That's where I hang out. On YouTube, also Eric Weathers, and you'll be finding lettering tutorials coming in hopefully an avalanche worth of lettering videos soon. We're launching that. I'm launching that in January. And of course, battlebrickroad.com for all things Battlebrick Road.
That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Mrs. Carol Brown, where can we find you and what do you do?
I do everything. You can find me on carolbrown.com. You can find me lurking on Twix on occasion, but yeah, I'm usually huddled over a keyboard, either organizing chaos or creating chaos. So that's me.
Sometimes
Thank
they
you for
look
having me.
exactly the same.
And
Yeah,
sometimes,
sometimes.
yeah. Well, a lot of times I'm on the receiving end of that chaos. And I get told to sit down, shut up, and do what I'm told. And yes, Carol. She's only slightly nicer than that to me.
It's okay. Eric understands. He's been in meetings with me.
I understand.
Skeptical face.
Yeah. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, good sir.
Hi.
What do you do? Where can we find you?
That is exactly where you can find me at Mr. DP Riley on Twix
Mr.
and whimsyland.org.
There
which
you
is
go.
at the bottom of the screen. I'm just drunk enough to shill semi-appropriately.
It's also in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everybody out there, thank you all so much for joining us for Iron Age Nights. There will be no Sunday coffee this week, guys, because we are doing our Christmas with our family because my wife was in the hospital last week.
Yep.
So we're going to
Christmas
visit her.
on New Year's.
Christmas on New Year's, but we will be doing Sunday coffee the week after. So make sure if you guys have comments, leave those comments. I will be catching up with all of those. I do hope that everybody has a fantastic New Year. I will probably be going fairly radio silent this weekend. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here.
I just had a thought. Dubious Dick and the Beer of Destiny.
I'm down with it. That's so great. Dubious Dick and the Beer of Destiny. That's great.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be like I don't know. I like the dubious dick part, but it's like it would have to be like something the oil man, right? Like, because he's an oil field worker. Like Popeye the Sailor Man, but there's something like what would it?
I'm playing with J.K. Rowling titles.
Oh my goodness.
This is what happens when I've had 4 glasses of iOS.
I feel like we're gonna scare away all of the people who are here. Well, I don't know.
Eric's definitely not coming back. That's for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Is
They
it
say
that
the
obvious?
Oh, good Lord. No, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we hit 60 likes on this live stream. Thank you, all of you, so much. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, until next time, cheers, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Run away.
Wow, really?
Run away!
Wow.
Run away!
Wow, you get wow.